would probably be what I'd go for. So like I said, I think they're looking percentage-wise. I think they're going to warm up. They're going to make sure that the 85 to 90% is in the bank, then go up to 95, a little bit more, and then start making, making a move.
Awesome. Well, I think I'm not sure what I would be doing when it comes to this workout. I think we look at some of these athletes. We've got in the first heat, we've got the guys coming from the Bears Project or the Team Metal Co. We've got CrossFit Nottingham. We've got 21-15-9 Confident Team. I think it's Confident Team. And we've got quite a few others. We've got over 30 teams are qualified for this weekend. It's teams of 4. It's that sort of shift in terms of the team process for CrossFit for the games. Last year saw the first shift into the 4-man team format. How did that change people's psychology going into how they approach workouts?
Well, I don't think it really changes how they go into the workouts. I think what it does change is that to find a team where you can find 6 evenly matched individuals, that's a bit of a challenge. 4 people, that's a lot easier. Being able to find, usually it's been the female side of the house where you find somebody who's either an endurance athlete or a powerhouse. So matching those and balancing that out, that has been the biggest challenge in the past, and I think that's gotten a whole lot better now with the 4 team member format.
And we're seeing the guys out on the floor. They're sort of going through the process with their judges. They're understanding. What part do the judges play in this as they ensure those standards are met and that every athlete knows the rules of the game?
Well, absolutely, and not just that. It's about an ease. It's about having a conversation with your judge and being able to ask, so what are you looking for? What do you want me to do? How do we communicate with each other? Find some kind of rapport, because the judges aren't there to no-rep people. They're there to assist that the standards are being met, but also to comfort the athletes in making sure that they feel comfortable and they can go out there and deliver.
So we've got these athletes. They're about to approach this workout. We're about 30 seconds away from this first workout taking place. This is it, guys. This is the start. We are finally here. CrossFit Strength In Depth 2019 here at London Excel. I can't wait for this. This has been building for a while. It's such an exciting move for these guys. You can see the excitement in these guys' faces. And we are counting down into this workout. So let's give these guys a big cheer at home, wherever you're watching. If you're at the arena, if you're watching in your bed right now, if you're just waking up and getting to enjoy this, you can see that these guys have got to move out. So all athletes, as you can see, have started on the start mat. The guys, the male athletes, are the first people to move out. As we talked about, what do you think is this first weight? What is a safety weight that these guys will be going for?
Oh, that's gonna be completely individual. We're seeing a couple of athletes here, starting out with 70 kilos. Saw somebody start out with 90 kilos as well, and I think we were right on the button. And it's not just because we're smart; it's also because we actually talked to these guys in the warm-up area. It's all about a percentage to race. Right here, that's 90 kilos on the bar, so that's a very decent weight to start out with.
As I say, I think I'd be feeling that straight away. I think my max is at 90 kgs. I would be struggling beyond this myself, but these athletes are training every day for this. The preparation that these guys have put in for this competition, how would they have looked at this going into, well, he was a bit wobbly over there, but did he get the rep? I didn't see the judge's hand go up. I think he did. I think they're moving up. They're moving up into the next weight. So those guys they're doing okay. So as I say, there is no sort of the athletes can approach this workout as they see fit. So they can rest, they can rotate, they can put their guys through. But it is all about hitting these max numbers. It's so important to try and put a big score on the doors early on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it's all about confidence as well. I mean, you want to go out there and you want to make sure that you feel confident as you get the first lift, so you feel confident going into the next one. So John, right here in the front of your screen, is from Atletverkstan in Sweden, and he's a very, very, very confident lifter. I've seen him in the past, seen him compete, following him on Instagram as well, and he should not find this challenging in any way, shape, or form.
And he has just lived up to your expectation there.
Oh, that's good.
I'm glad you could say the team name in terms of where he's coming from. I'm going to trust you on that as a Danish man who can speak so many languages and is a man living in Sweden. It's great that you can help us with those pronunciations on there. But he did look very comfortable on that weight, and his teammate is not as comfortable. That is not a great start for him. But look, it's not the end of the world. You just say you take that on the chin and you move on.
Yes, absolutely, and that's where, as a team, it gets really interesting, because what you want to do as a teammate at that point is just, bring a little bit of confidence into it. Be like, you know what, you had that, you may not have done this or that, or this is what happened, and then start moving on again. And this is a great shot of the entire floor, where you can just see how many things going on.
So we're just moving into lane 6. We've got the guys coming in there. It looks like we've got Team Nordvest taking on this workout, and they are doing a pretty good job to start things off. Now, they've got 4 minutes to nail out their max here. Then the girls, then the female athletes will come in. We talk about the max guys, the max that the guys are going to come in for. In terms of the girls and their approach, safety lifts, expectations, what do you think on their from their side of things?
I'm sorry, one more time.
So, do we just talk about the girls and the lift that they're going to be taking on? Now, they're moving in. We're kind of coming into 3.5, nearly 30 seconds left on the clock for the boys to hit their numbers. The girls are not far away from coming in. The female athletes have got their chance. Now, we're just seeing a fail there. So there's people going for some chunky weights here to try and make, as we said, to get those scores on the doors early on. We're here in lane 6 on the screen, and it's scary what these guys are trying to lift, and they are trying to push this out. We're counting down. We've got 8 seconds coming into the end of the workout for the men, and the females are about to hit the floor. So the boys, I think, have probably hit the out now. It looks like the guys have said, right, we are done. They're moving their bar onto the finish mat, and now the female athletes are going to come on and take the workout. So let's go for your take on what we think these female athletes will be trying to hit early on.
Oh, I think we're going to see the same thing. I think we're going to see the same thing from the female athletes as well. I think percentage-wise, that's where they're going to be at as well. I think they'll have a game plan coming in, probably 3 planned lifts each, and then from there on, try to throw some haymakers out there.
Let's see what these guys can do. That looks like Sarah Potter doing that lift, and she has hit a good rep there. So that's a good start for her.
It's a bit of a struggle, to be honest, on the first one. She didn't get full extension on the arms, had to push it out. Now that is beautiful right there. That's a great way to start.
Now, do you think that was nerves on that first lift for Sarah in terms of that, how she was taking that on and how she looked at that? Is that nerves, or is that just maybe a little bit of stiffness at the start of the day?
Well, I think it's probably just stiffness. I sure hope so. I mean, she's super powerful. It was a power snatch, lots of power. But I mean, I think she may have just wanted to dip a little bit further underneath the bar. It's all about in the snatch. It's all about making sure to gain maximum height on the bar. And for that 100th of a second when it's weightless, sit down, extend your arms, position yourself. But we see her getting in trouble again. I think this is actually well, not trouble. She got the lift.
Got the lift,
but
yeah,
it costs a lot more. No.
There's a lot of energy being, well, let's maybe, without being trying to be too cruel, there's a lot of energy being wasted on that lift. It's been retched up there. It's been being pulled up at a rate maybe technically she might be able to do better at. Is that fair?
That definitely is. Definitely is. I would look at her teammate right here in the bottom left or the middle of your screen right there. Just a lot more confident. And she sits down further, which means that it allows her to extend her arms and catch it in a strong position, where we saw Sarah with the bent arm. A little bit of trouble.
We're just going to be moving across the floor here, taking in some of the other teams as they take on these lifts. It's like there's a lot of conversation going on. How much of a tactical conversation would they have had coming in? Would they say, well, we'll see how fresh you feel, or should we?
Beautiful.
That looked great. So she has nailed that lift. Well done to her. Now, her colleague is moving in. They obviously had a chat about what she's going to attempt. Looks like she's going to attempt the same weight.
It looks like 65 kilos right there. Yeah, she got it.
She nails it. She gets there. There was a bit of a struggle, but you have to give them credit. These guys, these ladies are lifting and lifting well. So I think it's look, we talk about the early start. This is a lot of stuff to take on. But then so many people in the CrossFit community are out there working from 6 a.m. in the morning. People are doing classes early on. We're in lane 6 and 7. We'll have a look here. We've got Team Frank Tullen. Excuse the pronunciation. Can you help me with that one, please, Mads?
Frank Tullen.
Yes, is that right? Does that feel right?
That feels right, but if we're butchering the name, then I'm genuinely sorry. Please, reach out on social media. Let me know how it's pronounced. I like the way that they're all getting together as a group in between reps and just kind of reassessing the situation, you know, giving each other a couple of pointers. Oh, beautiful. That's 75 kilos, I think.
They're perfectly in control. They seem to have got a good approach in terms of, as you say, they're discussing, they're going back, they're rushing now to get the new weight on and getting that in place. But they did look very much in control of their approach for this session.
Oh, they absolutely did. And one of the things I just want to throw out there is that whenever I make an assumption about the weight on the bar, take it as an assumption. We will have that reconfirmed later. This is just me trying to add up, and, you know, math is not my strong feat.
Well, you're doing a great job so far. I think we are both going to try and work on that to help us and help as many of our viewers at home so that we can give a full and accurate an assessment as we can on the weights that these boys and girls are lifting right now. So look, we're moving back into the second part of the workout. Now this is a slightly different take on it. These guys have got to work through a lot of reps right now.
So it's going to be, they're going to move on to 30 clean and jerks. The guys will have 100 kilos on the bar. The girls will have 65 kilos on the barbell. The male athletes are going to have to make their way through all 30, and that releases the female contingency of the team onto the barbell for their 30 reps of the clean and jerk.
Now, is this just go for it?
Well, it is going to be definitely go for it, but I mean, it's not really the sprint that it could have been. I mean, it's still 100 kilos. Some people are just going to tear it off the ground and throw it overhead, no problem. But it's still something that after 30 reps, even though you get to change or you get to share the reps, it's still going to be challenging.
And there is no set hard and fast rule in terms of how the athletes can approach this part of the workout. They can do these in bridges of 5. They can swap it out. They can go every second rep. There are no rules on that, is there?
No, not that I heard of yesterday when we went through the rules. But that being said, if I were on the teams, I'd try to string together a couple of reps at least, just because the transition is also going to eat away time, and these fastest teams are just going to tear through this.
So we can see the guys now. They've taken on to now, into the second part of the first workout of the day. These guys are working through 30 clean and jerks at 100 kgs. These guys are rotating one after one. It seems like a slightly different approach to what you were just chatting about there, Matt.
Well, we see him now stringing together 2 reps and then handing off for another 2 reps, and I think that's it. It's a good idea. You're also seeing him not hold on to the bar. I mean, you need to feed into your strength. If you've got an athlete that feels really confident with the barbell, absolutely have him stay on the bar, get a couple of reps. If you feel like 100 kilos is going to be challenging, make sure you get 1 rep, get off the bar, and release the other athlete again. The bottom of your screen, black t-shirt there and black shorts. He's circling through these very easily.
Does look very comfortable, doesn't he? And just to be clear for the viewers at home again, as we're watching this, once you've done each of 10 reps, they will move the bar up the mat. So that's 10 reps, they'll move them up the lane. You'll then see 20, again, they'll move them up the lane. So at home, you will see how they are progressing. We'll obviously be looking out for the judges' count to say, look, 5 reps to go as they close in on that final piece. But as you say, this should be hopefully easy enough for you guys to see at home. But these guys are lifting some serious weight right now, and they seem to be cycling through these very efficiently.
Well, they are, and this is where it gets really funny to watch. Well, it's always funny to watch a CrossFit competition, but it's funny because you start looking at people's 1 rep max and you go, oh, he's going to do this easily. Well, he may be a specialist at lifting once. Now try to emulate that technique 30 times or 15 times. It's a whole different beast.
It's a very different psychology, right? I think people look at these weights and sort of, sometimes weight can put fear into people's minds. I think, you know what, they see 100 kgs, this is heavy, and I've got to do this 15 times.
Oh, absolutely. But also, it's one of these things where it's like, well, what's my endurance like? You know, that's what it's all about. This is an expression of where is your work capacity? What can you do over time? And that's where it gets interesting, because if you are a weightlifter coming in, you're going to be loving the snatch, the 1 rep, go out there, get it. You're going to be probably hating this. You need to be a hybrid, which is what we're all about.
So looking at the floor right now, there's not much to be said that's in it. It does look like that maybe the guys in lanes 5, 6, and 7 are probably leading out. But actually, just looking at it here, we've got the guys from the Bears project. No, sorry, Team Metal Co. in lane 2. The ladies are onto their workout. So 30 clean and jerks at 65 kgs. So they're moving that bar forward, and they have moved that quickly.
It was very, very quick, and it looks like the 65 kilos doesn't represent that much of as much of a challenge for these ladies as the 100 kilos did for the guys. Because look at them, just they're going. It's very impressive to see.
Well, I'm very impressed that this is such a good start so early in the morning. I shouldn't be saying that all the time. The guys in lane 1, the male athletes, the Bears Project, had just crossed through, so the girls are. So just to confirm that it is actually lane 2, Team Metal Co, who we were commenting on earlier in terms of their max rep, where they were looking for that, looking a little bit uncomfortable, but they are flying and they are officially our leaders in this workout. And it looks like they have got the lead of quite a significant number of reps.
It is a very significant lead, and I think it came from just going, they were really smart. First lady addresses the bar, does 5 reps, hands up over to the other lady, does another 5 reps, moves the bar forward. So going 5 reps and circling that way, that's very fast.
And in fairness, at Team Metal Co, we were discussing how the male athlete, the first male athlete, was cycling through his significant number of reps, and it seems that that flow of getting a number of reps in one go is making a big difference to these athletes. People who are breaking it down. So there we go. So the first team across the line. Congratulations to Team Metal Co. They're our first winners of the day. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome to be able to say we have crossed that line. Now, we've got a lot of work still to do. We need to obviously get the calculations for for the first part of the workout, but that's great work for them. We've got to give them a lot of credit as they cross that line first. So we'll go back to the floor and keep an eye on who's going to be coming next. But that's a phenomenal first round effort.
And we're seeing a couple of teams trying to catch up with each other. At the top of your screen just a second ago, you saw the ladies in the red pants, and they had a pretty significant lead. Now the ladies from Nottingham as well, they're also trying to catch up. And I think the fast barbell cycling at the early stages really kind of got them. Well, they almost caught up.
Well, it's just looking across the floor. There's not much in it. I'm just trying to get our sight of our friends from. Yeah, we're just going to go to the team in the middle of the red trousers. I'm really sorry, I can't actually tell you which lane they're in. So that is actually our friends from Team Frank Luton. Now we need to make sure that we are telling those names correctly, and we'll see if we can get that checked for you properly later on. But these guys are making the move, and it looks like they're closing in on the 2nd place in this heat. In terms of timings, what would you say would be the time to get through this and to nail this as the ideal window? We've got a time cap of 8 minutes, and there we go. Actually, we've got the guys from CrossFit Nottingham have taken the 2nd place in that heat, so congratulations to them. Great effort. Terrific way to start the day for them as well. And the red trousers, Team Frank Luton, our favourites from the middle lanes, have crossed it. So crossed that line. So these guys have started. There's not much in it. There isn't. These guys are tight. They're closing in on each other, and they seem to have cycled through this pretty quickly.
And I mean, it just goes to show that it's not all about how fast the guys are. I mean, being fast on the guys obviously is going to set the girls up for success as well. But the girls, when they address the bar, if they can start cycling through these in sets of 4 and 5 reps, they can really make up some ground.
And it looks like we've got coming lane 7 are closing in on their final round of reps in this first heat.
Hanna Moisander there from Atletverkstad.
Across the floor just to see how people are doing. But it does look like the athlete program in lane 7. Looks like they might be closing this in.
Black tights, white top, or white tops on the
no
top
rep.
of your
There
screen.
was
Just
a
got
no
a
rep,
no rep right there.
That's interesting. That's fatigue, surely.
Oh, definitely. Super strong. And one of the things is you want to, as you want to start wanting to cycle faster, you may forget to just really mark out the top position, extending your knees, extending your hips, and that's why the judges will give you a no rep. So just slow yourself down just a little bit and make sure you get that rep.
They've got 5 final reps to go, and there we are in the middle lanes. We've got
that was Atletverkstad right there.
Oh, I got that right.
You did. You're moving to Sweden, buddy.
I'm moving to Sweden next month. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move to Sweden and get my pronunciation spot on. And congratulations to the Bears Project in lane 1. They have finished the workout. And it looks like we've just got 2 teams left on the floor. 1 team left on the floor. Let's say, as it is, CrossFit territory, everybody, the community works so hard to help these guys and will be supporting these guys. Hopefully they can break this time cap. And now it looks like they need to rotate in this. The other athletes to try and help them through here. good rep for her. So well done to her. They're closing in. They're still well within the time cap. It looks like they should be able to break that time cap. So that's good for them.
And from my part, when an athlete starts struggling that much on the jerk, what I'd like to see her do is to start.
They unfortunately have, the time cap has beaten them, unfortunately.
I would have liked to see them start to split jerk it. They don't have to push jerk it. They could have split jerked that, and I think that would have served them well in the last couple of reps.
Well, we're going to congratulate Team Metalco on winning that first heat. I think we've got Lauren is down on the floor with them. Lauren, are you there and ready to have a chat?
Yeah, hey guys, so Team Metalco, that was a really dominating performance. I mean, and I saw you put up a 75 kilogram snatch. So do you do a lot of weightlifting in your spare time? Was that the focus?
Yeah, I probably Olympic lift like 2-3 times a week, like one all technique session, one like heavier. So I've been working a lot on snatch lately because it wasn't very good, but yeah, it paid off, so pretty good.
It was a fantastic effort, and I think unofficially one of the top women's schools. Chris, team captain, this is a team that have been pulled together by Metalco. You don't train together regularly. How much harder is it to kind of bring it all together on the dance floor?
Yeah, it's a little bit tougher, but we had a couple of good training sessions together before the competition. We all know each other's strengths enough. We've competed against each other and with each other a few times before. We knew the barbell was going to be a really strong movement for us, so we had pretty confident tactics in that, so just trusted what we thought and attacked it, and it went well, thankfully.
Yeah, it really did. And Ben, I mean, you put up a 120. Do you set your weights? Do you know what you're going to hit before you go into this? Or is it 4 minutes free for all? We're trying to go as high as possible.
Yeah, pretty much. I knew that I could get 110, but it's the second time hitting 120, so I just thought go for it. Got it. Not too bad.
And it's really not a bad start to the competition, is it? Starting with a win and setting the time to beat, unofficially, by the way, of 3:57. That's massive.
Yeah. I think it's we came in at the bottom level of elite, and our aim is just to move up the ladder, and it's given us that big confidence boost to hammer it on everything. So we're really excited.
Well, congratulations, Team Metalco. You really kicked things off to a great start. Good luck for the rest of the competition. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Look, we're just chatting about the fact that on the back of that conversation that Lauren had with the guys from Team Metalco there, that they didn't train much together. Now, you were talking about that the way that the workout is working allows these guys to train separately and then come together. Now, but how important is the team dynamic for coming together when you actually need to be sort of for later workouts?
Well, as they alluded to in the interview, I mean, they're fantastic athletes and they know each other's strengths and weaknesses from competing against each other. But they had to have a couple of workouts and training sessions together where they can get the communication dialed in and so on and so forth. I mean, and that's what gets really hard.
And what did you think about the 120 kg max from Ben there? That's a pretty significant weight, right? That's some work.
I love the way that he said, well, you know, I knew I could get 110, but 120, you know, haven't lifted it that much. That's pretty close to your top lift. So I thought it was great gamemanship, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like we talked about before, it's great to get that one lift that you know you're going to be able to do that, and then just start throwing haymakers.
Well, I think that's it, and I suppose as well when you're at elite competition like this, where people are working towards the max of their levels, but it actually pushes. It's amazing how it pulls people through, and that they can start hitting even heavier weights than they maybe even thought possible.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of personal bests pop out of this competition either. And I think this speaks volumes of the team as well, that they allow each other that kind of security to go out there and make a run for it.
That's awesome. Well, I think we're not far away from heat number 2 for the teams. We'll see another repeat of that workout. I think we'll be sitting if we can chat to a few more athletes as they're wrapping up. But I think first thoughts on the first workout and the pain factor now in terms of what does it mean for these guys in terms of recovery and getting ready for the next workout later on this morning?
Not that much. Not that much. I mean, they're going to go out there, they're going to get on the bike, and they're going to be okay again. I don't think we're going to see them being too fatigued out of this.
Cool. I think well, the rest is so important. What will they go and do? Are they going to just drink, rehydrate? They'll just maybe sort of roll out the muscles a little bit, or will they get ready? Will they go straight into preparation mode for that next workout?
I think they're going to spend some time on the assault bike right now, just kind of taking it a little bit easy. Then after that, a little bit of mobility. They're probably going to try to rehydrate, maybe have a bit of some kind of supplement, whatever they feel most comfortable with. Then they're going to try to relax, discuss what they're on to next, and then just kind of get into their head for the next workout.
So we can see we're out on the floor getting ready for the second heat. The athletes, again, going through the briefing with their judges, understanding the parameters of what they have to do, how they're going to approach it, sort of moving through the lanes, making sure they don't make any mistakes. There we've got Team JST compete purple. And look who's in that. Look who's in that team right there. What are we thinking about Sam and what she's thinking coming into this? She wasn't meant to be here competing this weekend.
Sam is an amazing athlete, and she'll throw down at any time. And there was a vacancy in the team, and she just happens to fill it out. And if I was on that team, I'd be pretty stoked.
I think you'd be pretty excited, wouldn't you?
Pretty stoked.
I think you'd be looking forward to thinking this. I think we might win today.
And here's Mr. Bullo as well. He's been coaching a lot. And I think it's one of the things where it's cool that somebody who's been coaching a lot then makes their way onto the team, and he's got so much experience that he can contribute with to that team. So between him and Sam, well, and the rest of the team, there's just a lot of experience.
So we've got Team JST, and Team JST they were the first solely British team to qualify for the CrossFit Games. Now they've got one hell of a bit of programming going on.
Well, they do. I mean, and I think it's both the programming, but I also think it's the attitude in the box where people are just kind of spurring each other on. They're helping each other develop as athletes, and I think it's a great program, but it's also the attitude when they work out with each other.
And is a phenomenal thing in that we've got people and teams from all over the world competing this weekend. Actually, over in lane 10. We've got CrossFit Con coming in from France, and now we've got some significant French representation here this weekend. Do you think they look at this as the kind of the max level that they can get to? Are they looking for the throwdown in France and so on? What are your thoughts around how all these international teams might be approaching these workouts?
They're definitely on the circuit. They're trying to do as well as they can. They're trying to win their ticket to go to the games, and they've obviously decided we're going to do this. We're also going to try to do the French throwdown.
So we're getting ready for our second workout. We are 2 seconds away from getting the boys onto the floor, and here we go. So we're out. Team JST purple. Now, as we mentioned in the commentary earlier, Team JST were the first solely British team, all British athletes that competed in Madison, Wisconsin. Now, they had a couple of heat wins themselves over in Madison. Now, that's amazing. Excuse me, amazing for those athletes to do that. In terms of the work that Steve Fawcett is doing as a coach, they've also got Ben Massey in there as another coach. Both of those guys competed with JST in Wisconsin. What sort of advice would they be giving these athletes?
Oh, they're gonna be talking about everything from warm-ups to how to address the bar to how do they talk to each other, and it's everything. There's so much experience, and there's so many things that you learn once you start moving into this. That, I mean, there's just so much to share.
Now, he just made that look easy.
That's 100 kilos just easily thrown overhead right there. I mean, that's
Team Happy Hearts in lane 7. He definitely has a happy heart just going straight in there lifting 100 kgs. It's like he did not make that look like any problem at all. He's like, I could walk in and do that lift.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'd be a happy heart if I could do that as well. So we've got 110 kilos on the bar right now. Let's see how that works. Easy. That was nice.
He has his reps. So those guys have laid down some good early markers. Now, we met the guys from the winners from Team Metal Co. in that first heat. They did 120. That was what he pushed out at his highest weight. Those guys are just at 110 as their opening weight. They have get some good starts here.
That one as well. It's just very nice lifting. I enjoy this.
Guys do look like they are probably leading out as we're looking across the floor. And these guys look like they're laying down the first markers in this heat. Winning your heat, you're going to be in the mix come the end of the day.
So moving on to 115 kilos. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. But looking at the entire field, it looks like the most of these teams are going pretty heavy. They're pretty far above the 100 kilo mark already.
And it looks like we're going to be in lane 1 now with Team JST compete purple. Now this is Sam Briggs' team. The boys have made things look very comfortable so far.
It's 105 kilos right there.
Now they're looking like they're running around. He just caught his foot on the bar. Is there a kind of, are they just keen to get these lifts in? There's like, this is, obviously they want to be putting down some good weight as we mentioned so far in the first heat.
Power snatching 105. How was your day? Jonathan Bolo right here.
Oh, okay. Now they're going to take that weight off, and what are they going to add on here? They're going to adjust that. Are they going to push up for Johnny Bullo to do something else? What do you think on that approach?
I think they're probably going to start adding a little bit. Yes, they are actually adding a little bit of weight now, moving up to 110, just because the first male athlete had such an easy time. They're going to want to add some weight, yeah. That's the wolf pack, right?
Well, here we are in lane number 9. That's CrossFit Faction, actually. We're lifting here. So we've got CrossFit Faction who have put some mega weight on that bar.
That is Faction, isn't it? Yeah.
So
that's 120 kilo snatch right there. Nice.
Goes. So we know that 120 is currently probably our leading weight for the men in here. So what does 120 kgs feel?
I don't know. Never done it. I've never done it. Probably never will. It's a beautiful thing.
We're going to be moving over to lane 8. We've got the team from Tyneside Titans. They're coming all the way from Newcastle. These guys are not lifting quite as big a weight as we've just seen lifted, but that is a good rep. He's done well there.
At 115, they're pretty close though.
Moving up to the 4-minute time cap, so we are moving into that. So, okay, so those guys are done. Now it's time for the female athletes to come in, and we're going to be moving over. So we're just looking across the floor to see who's going to be, what number we can do. Let's go and have a look at sort of lane 1 with Team GST and see how Sam Briggs is going to be making a move, and let's see how fresh she is after her 19.1 1 a.m. workout.
Starts with a casual 60 kilo power snatch, just like that. Have a great day.
Just done that. I warm up, I'm no problem. It's like as our first athlete from Happy Hearts in lane number 7.
Oh, beautiful.
And again, beautifully smooth. Give a nice little look to the camera then. Did you notice that was a nice touch? She sort of seemed, I think she's confident with her lifting today.
Oh, I think the entire team's probably going to be very comfortable with what they've got.
We mentioned Happy Hearts earlier in lane 7. They were nailing their early weights, doing 110 as if it wasn't there. So we're back in with the female athletes from Happy Hearts. And they're kicking off on their weights, and she lifted that and making that look incredibly comfortable.
Looks like that's 62 and a half-ish. Once again, remember that, you know, whatever math I do, you don't want to trust it 100%. But
I think you're doing a good job of the maths right now, and I think nailing out, and I think we'll allow for contingencies of about maybe 5–10%. I think, look, this is awesome to see how these guys are doing, and look, I think any guidance we can provide for our fans and followers at home, I think is all good information, so whatever we can do. So I think we're going to have a look and see if we can get out to lane number 4 and see how the guys from Nordic Notorious are doing.
It's my home box here. Wondering what they're up to.
That's why we thought we'd go and have a look. We have to link in and see how your homebodies are doing.
So they're, well, that's pretty impressive. That's 75 kilos right there. So Amna is, she's been competing for a long time, used to be a gymnast, really great gymnast, and her weightlifting has been getting better and better. Solid lift.
Well done, huh? You're working with these guys, you see these guys on a regular basis. It's like, how have they approached coming into this weekend?
Well, they've had a long season just getting ready, and they've looked just continuously stronger and stronger. What I like most about the Nordic Beast, or the Nordic team right now, is that they look like they're having fun.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is that you've got to come and enjoy it. So that's Team Nordvest, pink, in lane number 6, who's making that weight look pretty easy. Their second female athlete is just going to go in there and try and hit that same weight. We're going to go back to lane number 1 and see how Team JST Compete Purple are doing. Sam is coming back in for her lift again. I think so. This is probably our 3rd or 4th lift.
That's just, it looks like 72 and a half kilos on the bar. Oh, so close. And the reason she didn't get that was that she did really, really great, but she didn't get all the way down to the bottom position. Didn't allow her to extend her arm fully.
Let's going to go and have a look at lane 9. We've got the guys from CrossFit Faction. We mentioned them earlier as well in dispatches. These guys have, their boys have done exceptionally well. It looks like the girls are doing well as well. There's some big weight on that bar.
That's 75 kilos right there. So close.
And that's a tough weight to be moving.
It is. It is, and what we're seeing them do now is just adjusting the bar just a little bit. They want to get a good lift in there. I mean, they were so close.
We don't have long left on this time clock, so they have to get a good another weight, and if they can do that, so they have to try and move pretty quickly. It looks like they are done. Okay, so these guys are done. So CrossFit Faction now, so it's all about moving in for the second part of the workout now. That is we have the limit of the 4 minutes each for the guys and the girls. We now move into the race element of this, and we're sort of seeing these guys will now get back into the 35 reps, 100 kgs for the boys, just a reminder of that workout. And then the girls are doing another set of reps at 65 kg. So we saw in heat 1, the athletes moving in different cycles, and it seemed that the guys who were cycling in 5s, 4s, 5s, and 6s seem to have a little bit more success than those guys who are rotating between 1s and 2s.
Absolutely. I mean, the 100 kilos, 30 clean and jerks with that. It's hard to barbell cycle 100 kilos for that long. We saw the girls being able to do it. And I think that's what you need to do. You need to find out where your limit is, where you can move really fast and purposefully, and also then to have a smooth transition.
Do you think that's what the guys are chatting about now? You can see Sam is still warming up, so maybe it's just trying to make sure that she is limber and she's ready to go. So we're just about 30 seconds away from this workout getting going again. So the second part, just a reminder, this is the second part of the first workout of the day for these teams. Important that all of them want to lay down their markers. Remember, the team winning this event this weekend, it's an invitation to Madison.
It is. It is. There's so much on the line, but they can't be thinking about that
Not
at this
all.
point.
There's still a long way to go. So we are counting down. We are 2 seconds away from the next start of the workout. Now let's see how these guys start moving through this.
This is a beautiful way to look at it. Remember that after 10 reps, they're going to have to start moving the bar forward. So whoever progresses the bar first, you're going to see that being the leader.
Got an early insight into lane 8, being our leading sort of Tyneside Titans, who struggled on some of the bigger weights in the earlier phase.
See who moves
I think we'll just
first.
let this wide shot do a lot of talking right now. Let's see as the athletes. So there we are, actually at the far side of the floor. We've got rows, we've got lanes 9 and 10. So CrossFit Faction and CrossFit Con are very close to each other. Lane 8 have followed up. Tyneside Titans are moving up. But actually looking in the middle of the floor, is our friends from Happy Hearts in lane 7 do seem to probably have that lead, unless that man is just standing very far forward. But we're going to go and have a look at lane 9. CrossFit Faction, let's have a look at lane 9 in there.
And the thing is, I mean, oh, easy. Just really, really nice. Generating power when he has to, positioning himself beautifully underneath the bar. That looks awesome right there. What they need to remember is this is not a sprint. This is about maintaining high speed throughout as much as you can, but not going so fast that you hit the wall. And that's a very fine balancing act.
They've moved forward. They have 10 reps to go, so it looks like these guys from CrossFit Faction are going to be some of the guys to look out for, potentially.
I just love the way that he just marks his overhead position just for a second, making sure the referee knows, you know, this is a good rep, so there is nothing to discuss.
I love that as well. I think the fact that these guys, they know they have the rep, but they're just going to move over and say, you know that I've got this right, and this is the way I'm going to keep going.
Yes. Which is the way it should be, because I mean, if you get a rep, but there's a bit of question about it, you may get a no rep. You just, in this kind of company, there's no time for that.
Back into the wide shot, so let's kind of have a look across the floor. CrossFit Con, so our guys actually out in lane 10, our team from France, have actually crossed the line first for the boys doing their first set of reps. So they're actually moving on to the girls. They are lifting already, so the girls are racing through. So our friends from France have had a fantastic start.
I just love this. I mean, I love being able to see more French teams get onto the floor. And look at what we just saw here. She starts she starts split jerking this, which is exactly what she needs to do. As soon as she can't push jerk it anymore, start split jerking, be fast on the bar, be fast off the bar.
There's not much at all between the rest of the team. So CrossFit Con have made a fantastic start. They have really got a lead going. But actually, the rest of the heat, 9 other teams. There's only one set of boys still working, and surprisingly, that's JST Purple. So what do you think has happened to these guys?
I don't know. I mean, it's just 100 kilos can trick you. If you throw it overhead a couple of times, you feel really good, and you go a little bit faster than maybe you wanted to initially, you know, you can find yourself in trouble. That being said, you've got Samantha Briggs at the back end of this, which means you may catch up, because it's not about the guys, it's about the entire team.
Of course it is, and that's the whole beauty. That's the beauty of the team workout. Is you're only as good as your member. It's about making sure that you spread your load and you strength in depth, and that's the beauty of the name. That's why that name is there. It sort of shows how important teams are and how you support each other in workouts. But it's interesting to see that those guys did struggle a little bit there, but we're back with our current leaders, CrossFit Con. They're maintaining that lead.
And this is where we start seeing other teams, the female participants in other teams that are starting to catch up. So their early lead by the only
Just when we're down back on the floor to see who's moving forward, and there really is not much. So there we go. So we've got our first movement, second movement. So CrossFit Con have been caught up, but there's only a couple of reps in this, and it looks like we've got lane number 6. Guys from lane number 6, Team Nordfest Pink, seem to have made a fantastic bit of effort coming through here. And we're going to move over to lane number 2. Say hello to the guys from, looks like Belfast BLK. These guys they're moving on, so well done to them. They're on to their final set of reps. There is nothing between these teams. These guys have made some significant moves in this workout.
They really are. I mean, but that being said, I think they're still pretty far behind the rest of the group. They're moving really, really fast, very purposely.
We've got Oakley Woodhouse there in lane number 3 working out for Team High BMI. She was part of Team JST at Madison, so she has got games credentials.
Oh, absolutely, and being a part of a box that produces so many good athletes and so many good teams as well.
So we have our first winners. We have our winners of the heat. Just CrossFit Con. Congratulations to them. Well done. They're closely followed actually by the guys from Happy Hearts in lane number 7. So congrats to those guys. That's a really fantastic start. We'll hopefully have a chance for them later on. But we'll stick with this workout. There is nothing between these teams. We have got 2 teams left on the floor, and that is in lane 2. That's Belfast BLK who have crossed the line. Well done to them completing that first workout of the day. And it looks like we've got JST Compete Purple are actually going to be the last team on the floor, and that's a bit of a surprise. The fact that you mentioned Sam Briggs is there.
It is a bit of a surprise, but then again, it's still early days. There's so much to be done over the rest of the weekend. I don't think they're going to be happy with this, but I think they're going to brush it off and they're going to come back, and I would never, ever in my life not look at where they were at.
Well, absolutely, and the thing to remember is we've got 3 heats, we've got 30 teams across this heat, and these guys could still be in the top 10. So yes. You've got to remember that. These things can move. We've got a lot of different times that we have to aggregate as we move through. So these guys will have worked exceptionally. They've got the start, they can move things forward, and they can start thinking about what comes next.
Oh, absolutely, and they should. They should. I mean, this is not, you know, they're going to have a couple of minutes where they talk about what they just experienced, but that's it. After that, get on the bike and get ready for the next one.
Absolutely. So I think Lauren is just setting up with some of the guys on the floor for a chat in just a little while, so we'll wait until she is ready to go. But what did you think overall of the guys from France? They made a significantly important move. Actually, it looks like Lauren might be ready. Are we ready down there, Lauren, to have a chat with our guys on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, bless them. They've literally just come across the finish line. Guys, it's Team Nordvest. You finished that final workout unofficially in first place in this heat. I'll come to you first. How difficult was it to transition from going for a max snatch into all of those clean and jerks?
Oh, that was pretty difficult because there's 2 different movements, but it went pretty good. So we just went it at 70 around 65, and that was the kilo we were doing clean and jerks with, so that was fine.
The best thing for us watching on was very much that you had the 2 Nordvest teams going head to head, Nordvest Pink and yourselves. What did that provide an extra level of competition for you on the floors? You know, because you know these guys really well. You all train together.
Yeah, but it was really fun actually. I think we're really competitive, everybody, but we're having a lot of fun together as well. So we just want to, just have fun, I guess.
Yeah, there's a little bit of regionals experience, isn't there, within this team?
Yeah, but Cecilia went to regionals 2 times, so she's there. Yeah.
So how different are you finding this sanctional event in comparison to what you've experienced before?
I think it's very similar, and I think the atmosphere, everything is awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Yeah.
So gentlemen, I'll bring you in on the conversation. I mean, you were hitting a 110 and a 115 in those lifts. Are you happy with that performance?
I couldn't hear you.
So are you happy with your lifting today?
Yes, it went pretty well. We got, as you said, 15 and 10, and that was pretty good. I've been sick lately, but we got back in the clean jerks, and that was pretty awesome. To beat them especially.
I mean, it adds a little bit of fuel to the fire, doesn't it? When you can beat your local rival.
Yeah, of course, it's awesome, and my girlfriend is on the other team, so that's pretty awesome to compete against her and with a lot of friends. So that's pretty awesome.
What kind of words is she going to have with you later after that?
Yeah, we will see.
Well, congratulations, guys. Great performance. Good luck for the rest of the competition. Yeah, and you all.
Thanks, Lauren. Look, that's one hell of a good start to the day. We still have one more team workout to come to open this up. I think it's interesting to hear the thoughts of those guys, and obviously the little bit of Nordic competition going on. I think, obviously, you're Danish. You live in Sweden. What's that competition going to feel like?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but I think what's most fun is that one of the male athletes has his girlfriend in the other team. I mean, it turns into a family affair. I'm wondering if anybody's changing rooms tonight or changing hotels altogether. But I think it was they did a great job. Yeah.
Look, it's been a terrific opening to the proceedings so far this weekend. I think it's like you look at those workouts and you see how much they're working and how hard they're working. It's interesting to see the fatigue factors, and it will be interesting to see how these guys start to move forward as they move into rounds 2 and 3 later on today.
Oh, definitely. Fatigue is going to start playing in, both physical from just exerting themselves on the floor, but also mental. If you go out there and you overperform, are you going to go in too hard in the next one? Or if you go out there and you don't exactly get the result that you wanted to initially, are you then going to start bitching and moaning internally within the team, or are you not? That's a whole different thing. So it's not just the physical strain of going out there and throwing all this weight around.
And that's interesting to sort of talk about the potential where teams may have disagreements, or that they have elements where people are not maybe hitting what they might not feel great, whatever it might be. What does the impact of a team maybe not having a lot of time together coming into this event, does that impact the sort of team dynamic and the morale that might sort of then come into play later on over the weekend?
It absolutely does. I mean, we've seen it in so many competitions over the years where teams will find themselves in trouble, and they may not be super synced as a team. They may not have the communication channels where it's like, well, after this event, we're going to go out, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about what happened, and then we're going to let it go. Some people will carry that throughout for days, and that becomes a problem right away. So I think it's one of these things where you need to work out to know what people are going to be able to put on the table and what they're going to be able to deliver, but also how do we talk to each other?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of, if you were approaching the team workout, if you were a coach, let's put yourself in, you are a coach, obviously you've been there. How would you be telling your guys to say, right, you've got 4 guys out here who have trained exceptionally hard together for the last 3-4 months since qualifying. How would you be approaching getting ready for this and getting ready for this weekend in terms of the logistics of traveling and getting over here? There's a lot to think about for these teams, and they want everything to be perfect.
There are so many things. I mean, and I think a smart way of doing is like all the travel and everything like that, making sure that you've got one person taking care of that, and then nobody else really thinks about it. So that responsibility is kind of taken care of. And then as a coach, when it comes to the to the workouts before, you want to try to throw these guys off. You want to try to put them in deep water and then see how do they cope with that. But you want to do it so far away from the competition that you can iron those things out, so that the last couple of weeks leading into the competition should be super smooth.
Absolutely awesome. Well, look, we're moving it. We're just a few minutes away, 3 minutes away from the heat number 3, the final team heat of this morning to get things moving. We mentioned about Team JST. We're just seeing here on the replay the guys kicking things off. Now, they didn't have the best heat. We've mentioned that. We've discussed that. Sam looked very comfortable on her first lift. That's awesome to see. These guys, now that was our first big movement, and that was fantastic to see that effort.
Oh, it was. I mean, 120 kilos going overhead in a snatch like that, I think it's beautiful.
And I think actually as we move into heat number 3, we mentioned Team JST. We keep talking about Team JST. They are, from a British point of view, a lot of those guys are working out fairly locally here as well. Like the JST are based out of Wigan. They're producing athletes left, right, and centre. They have 3 teams in this elite team competition, and the 2 of them are competing against each other in this final heat. Bragging rights up for grabs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Establishing themselves as a very competitive box. I mean, they have been for years, but being able to have 3 teams that are super good coming into this competition like this, obviously, bragging rights at home, definitely. But also new team composition. So what do you do from there on?
Now, we're talking about Team JST, but there's a whole bunch of other teams coming through here as well. We've got a team coming in from the Middle East. We've got CrossFit Yas. Now, and Oslo Wolfpack. Wolfpack won Strength in Depth back in November. Those guys are seriously strong.
They are. It is a different team now from Wolfpack, but I think they're going to be doing really, really well. You've got the Max Pull Spartans. They were at the games. So it's the Norwegian contingency, or the Norwegian invasion of the Strength in Depth is going to be, you know, it's impressive.
I think it's there's a lot of people to look out for in this heat. It does feel like this is probably our loaded heat. Looking forward to this. The guys are on the floor, as we can see. We've got CrossFit. So just to run through actually our lane orders, just so people are aware, we're going to have Team JST compete in black in lane number 1. We've got Team RX Performance lane number 2. Team Nasty in lane number 3. We've got Max Pulls, who Mads is liking for this, I think. I think you quite like those guys to take this on for this this final heat. And lane number 5, we've got Central Beasts. In lane 6, the athlete program. We mentioned team coming up in lane 7, that's CrossFit Yas. Jamie Green's home neck of the woods. We know how she's going to compete in the individual elite later on today. In lane number 8, we've got Motion Food Spring. By the way, I'm loving some of these team names.
Oh, absolutely.
There's lots of sponsors coming in here, isn't there? And then in lane number 9, we mentioned them. They are sort of the defending champions from Strength in Depth in November. Mads has already said, look, they're made up slightly differently coming into this event, but they are still going to be a team to look out for. And then in lane number 10, the final round of the Team JST team as an overall team. There's a lot of them, but Team JST compete orange. So here we go. We are up and running. We are into the final heat. So let's have a look on the floor and see how these guys start off. Look at these opening weights.
So if I'm not completely mistaken, what we've had so far is a 120 kilo top lift on the snatch event. So looking forward to seeing if some of these teams are going to be able. I mean, they know this walking in here. That's the weight we need to beat. So what are they going to do so?
120, as we said. So we're looking actually there. I can just see the background. So they're working in slightly staggered lanes just to ensure that there's no roll of weight. So we're going to go and have a look at lane number 5 at Central Beasts. Mads, give us your thoughts on how these guys are looking. Well, actually, we just missed their lift. But anyway, that's okay. We'll move on.
It's still 110 kilos as a starter.
We'll sit there and let's see. Now, that beard looks like it could lift anything.
That is a very impressive looking beard. That's a very impressive athlete altogether, because look at that right here. Oh, beautiful lift, but caught it out a little bit ahead. There are heaps of reasons why the barbell will end up ahead of the athlete like that. I think for him, I don't think he extended his hip completely. I think he popped the bar a little bit lower on the thigh than he's used to, and so it ended up a little bit ahead of him.
And he's come straight back in. There's no rest there. I think he feels like he has got that lift, and there he does. Now, interestingly, now just give us your thoughts. He doesn't have his shoes tied up. Is there a reason why some of these athletes wouldn't tie their shoes for lifts like this?
Oh, it's just habit. It's just habit. If you've always lifted that weight, don't change anything for the competition.
So we've got, we're looking like, I think that's lane number 7. We've got CrossFit. Now, yeah, sorry, that's Motion Food Spring in lane number 8, making some good start there. And then we're moving across and we're looking at the guys from Oslo. So we're in Oslo Wolfpack. So the guys from Norway. So as we mentioned earlier, these guys won Strength in Depth in Bath earlier this year, or at the end of, 2018. They broke the JST monopoly on the winning of that event. So that's a big, big change. And these guys have got a lot of credentials to be tested this weekend. So I think we'll see what else we can have a look across the floor and see who else we can go and have a look at as they're making these lifts. And I think we're going to go to lane number 7 and CrossFit Yas. So Yas have got, again, they have got some significantly good athletes coming through in Yas. They work hard out in the Middle East. They're working in some high temperatures out there, I would imagine, every single day. I think the heat out on the floor will mean nothing to this.
No, absolutely. It definitely won't. You got right there their white-haired gentleman, a.k.a. Bacon. He's been,
call him dude if you want. I can imagine you wanted to say the white-haired dude there. But
he was in, I think I've seen him in the Big Lebowski at some point. The thing with Yas is that Yas has always had good teams. We've had, you know, Elliot Simmons be in the team to start with. We had Jamie Green in there to start with. We had Bacon in the team to start with. And I think that's just one of the things that speaks volumes of what you see in that box. It's just the pedigree of producing great individual athletes and also teams. And right now we've got, that looks like 130. That is 130. 130 kilos right here for Bacon. Do it, bro, Seth. That's how he does.
Easy.
Beautiful.
Bacon, that looks so easy. Well done to him. That is awesome. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Central Beast in lane number 5. Let's see how these guys are doing. We saw these guys a little bit earlier, as we mentioned, the beard and the shoes, the habit of not tying up your shoes. But let's see how they get on with this weight. So it's not as big as the 135 we just saw, the 130 we just saw. But let's see how these beasts do.
5, a missed lift.
So thoughts on the weights that these guys are moving on. So the guys are now done. So they have to move their bar up and across the line. So they're freeing up the plates there for the ladies as they move through. So we're now into the ladies cycle. They start making their lifts. Now we're just about to mention that there were some big weights lifted there by some of the men in this heat. So it'll be interesting to see how these girls do in competition against some of the earlier heats when the girls are lifting.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. I think we're going to see some safety lift here again. I think it's important that the girls don't get kind of torn into that whole, what did the guys just do? What am I expecting? And so on. Game plan. Go out there and get the weights on the floor.
How much does ego come into this for some of these guys? If they see somebody on the floor lifting a weight that you might feel, oh, I can get there, or I think I can get close to that. Sometimes, you mentioned the point, great lift there again. You mentioned the point about sticking to your game plan. Sometimes is it very easy to get distracted by others on the floor who are on competition with you?
Oh God, yes. I mean, there's no way that you can't look around and see what everybody else is doing, and you kind of get caught in that. And that's where experience plays in, where what you want to do is you want to just kind of stick with your safety lift and then start making a move. Just the same way that in a workout, like we saw Sam at 19, when she did 19-1, the announcement, she kind of took it easy to start with, didn't get caught in it in Kelly Friel's speed, and then kind of accelerated. The same thing with the lifts. Okay, so we're going to go and have a look at the guys from Motion Food Spring in lane 8. Let's see how the ladies are doing on this. That's 75 kilos. That's a good weight. Oh, beautiful.
Making that look seriously easy.
Stoic face right there. You got to appreciate that as well.
Well, that's a good marker laid down there for her. I think it seems that there's a lot of people here who are very, very keen to lay down their own individual markers in this competition. I imagine this is a real confidence boost for many.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. And you see the calm in the entire team is like, that lift was good. And so, now, you know, now go out and you do yours. It takes a little bit of pressure off.
What workout do you think that these guys are looking forward to the least?
Oh, God, that'll be different from everybody. I mean, we were talking to some of the guys when they were warming up, or Lauren was talking to some of the guys, and they're like, oh, you know, the thrusters, I'm really looking forward to that. And you hear other guys just, you know, wanting to change the thrusters for their firstborn child. And I think it's very, very different depending on background and where you're at with your training.
Okay, so look, these guys are...
That's at 80 kilos now.
She's just put another 5 kgs on there. And done. Absolutely no problem whatsoever.
Beautiful.
Oh, I think see across the floor. It might be worth having a look at the guys at CrossFit Yas in lane number 7 if we get the chance. As you Said Bacon was doing 130 or 135. What
I
did
think he did one. He got a 130. So
130. So let's see what the girls can do in comparison to that.
So that's a 70. That's got 75 kilos on the bar right now. Karin Balbake on your right, also from Sweden before she went and joined the YAS team. Just had a successful lift, and let's check this out right here. Oh, so close, so close.
Okay, so look, there's no wasting time there, is it? There's a straight in. If they miss the lift, the next person is in trying to get that lift. We're going to go to lane number 1, and it's Team JST compete. So we're seeing the second of our Team JST guys in there. And let's give us your thoughts on how these guys are looking.
Oh. That was too bad. I mean, it's a heavy weight right there. It's an 80 kilo snatch.
Looks like they are going to take their hit. Yeah, that is the end of that phase of the workout. So they're going to move into now the sort of the race element, as we mentioned before. So this is the next phase, 30 reps, 100 kgs, 30 reps, 65 kgs. Already about to take place. So as we mentioned, this wide shot will give you a good early indication of who's making their way down the floor. What's your favorite approach you've seen so far? Who's impressed you the most with their tactical approach in this one?
I think all it's not one specific team so far that's kind of stood out, but what I really liked was in the previous heat we saw several male athletes go out there and get like 3 or 4 reps, cycling them through them really fast and then moving the barbell. We saw some others that took big chunks and then kind of hit the wall. I, for my part, just really enjoy seeing an athlete or athletes or teams that are super aware of their capabilities. They make sure not to hit the wall, and then once they've got a couple of reps left, they hit the throttle and then they go for it. What I'd like everybody to remember, though, is that the guys may come out first, but we've seen so many standings change once the ladies enter the floor. So make sure that you're playing this safe. You're setting everybody up for success. But I am looking forward to seeing Bacon go crazy on the barbell.
Let's see how Bacon does go. I think Bacon might be my favorite athlete's name, at least so far of the weekend. I know we're early. There's a lot of cool names out there. And we're off. So let's see how these guys do.
So top of your screen with the gray shorts, black t-shirt, and the hat, that is Bacon, and it looks like he's about a rep and a half ahead of the closest other competitor right now. That being said, we said it before, it's all about the rest of the team as well. You can't carry it yourself.
That's the whole thing about the benefit of the team. We keep talking about the team and how important it is that these teams work as a team. No point being an individual, standing alone, and then you not backing up your fellow athletes to try and make it over. So it's lane 5, Central Beasts. It's not actually Team YAS, but Central Beasts are the first guys to go through their first 10 reps.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. The first couple of reps were really fast with Team YAS, but this is fast all the way through. Both male athletes, and look at that sweet, fast work. And a good transition as well. Not dropping the bar and letting it float off. Dropping the bar, placing it so the other athlete can just address it. And that is a strong gentleman.
How important are these little movements you just mentioned about not letting the bar roll off? That's crucial, isn't it? They're little nuances within the workout that can make things so much better.
I said it at the Invitational 2013, and I've been saying it ever since. When it comes to teams, it's about transition and communication just as much as it's about the physical prowess of the individual parts.
We talk about transition, and we look at other sports outside of CrossFit. You look at triathlon, so where transition is one of the major parts for an athlete in triathlon, and how important it is to be efficient. Same applies here. You get those transition right, you can nail it, and you actually improve your chances.
It's interesting to see the lineup right here, and just all the teams and how close they are. This is still up for grabs for everybody.
Lane 5 continue to be the lead guys. So lane 5 are the first males across the line. Let's see if their girls can continue that trait.
Oh, beautiful. Love the name as well, Central Beasts. How's that? That's very cool.
I think they've got the perfect lane assignment as well. In lane number 5, they're bang in the middle of the floor and they're called the Central Beasts. It's like, could it get any better?
They're doing a great job right here, just maintaining fast barbell cycling, fast transitions. I like this. I like this a lot.
How many guys have we got finished? Looking there at lane number 1 has just finished. The JST have come across the line for the boys. And lane number 2, it looks like the guys, sorry, excuse that. We're just trying to keep an eye on the floor and see who's doing what. But JST compete in black here in lane number 1. Their girls are cycling through pretty efficiently.
They are.
Going to have a look at lane number 5 again. So Central Beast, as I say, they seem to be early leaders. We still have a couple of, there's one team with their males still on the floor.
And Central Beast still going through this with great ease. You see them going through it, just chewing off a little bit smaller chunks right now, dropping the barbell. It's an interesting technique. I mean, by dropping the bar like that, she's conserving her grip and her shoulders just a little bit, and it's not slow in any way, shape, or form either.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you feel like that's slowing her down? But it seems like she is actually maybe preserving energy a little bit more.
I think she's doing a great job, and
looks like it's going to be. It is. Well done. Congratulations to Central Beast. They are the first across the line, so they have done a terrific job there. They have laid down their marker now as well. So we have got our heat winners from the first heat. We had the guys from Team Metal Co. taking home heat number 1. Winning heat number 2, we had the guys from CrossFit Caen from France. And then we've got the Central Beasts who've just crossed their first for this heat number 3. So they may be our first leaders, but let's have a look at the overall times and the overall weights to get our leaderboard. But we'll come to that a little bit later on this morning.
beautiful finish right there. Beautiful finish. You know, we've got to be pretty happy. Mike looks like a happy camper. He's got a lot to do this weekend. Coaching people, competing himself as well.
There we go. So JST Black have crossed the line. Congratulations to them. Lauren will be chatting to some of these guys at the end. So I think, look, this is working out as a pretty fast heat overall.
And these were the teams that compete that qualified with the highest scores. And I mean, this is why we're seeing this so fast. That's RX Performance from Norway right here as well. Did a great job at regionals, went to games, represented Norway with great pride, and here they are, finishing up.
Those guys as well. So Team RX Performance across the line there. We've got 3 teams left on the floor. Not much left going on here. These are our top 10 qualifying seeds. Qualifiers, so that's these should be the best. Now, it doesn't necessarily always work out that way, but these guys have qualified as the best team coming in.
I think they're doing a beautiful job. All these teams are doing a great job. What we know from the qualifiers is that they speak of capacity within the team, absolutely. But when you come competition day, it's a whole different thing.
Guys, the fatigue kicking in. So JST Orange in the lane 10 across the line. So we've got 1 team left on the floor. That is lane number 9 from the looks of it. That's Oslo Wolfpack. So we were giving them a lot of bigging up at the early stages, and well done to them. They have just crossed the line. So that is the end of the first workout for our teams this morning. And I think we're going to have a chat shortly with with the winners, hopefully. So, but we're not quite going to go down there yet. But so, Mads, just give us your final sort of thoughts on the opening session of this sort of team workout for today.
Well, it was a beautiful piece. The way it was programmed, just a heavy lift right there, 90-second transition right into the 30 clean and jerks. I think it's brilliant. I love what I saw, and I thought the teams did a great job as well.
It's awesome. It's good to hear that that's the way that these athletes have started. I think it was a terrific way to go into it. And I think, yeah, Lauren is ready down the floor. Lauren, over to you to have a chat with the Central Beast.
Hey, thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, Central Beast, we knew when they were coming to this competition, they qualified in first place. They've been to Dubai already, and they're probably the closest thing to a super team in this competition today. But you might not agree with me. You're not a super team, are you?
I wouldn't call us a super team. We just work super well together. And I think that's where we differentiate ourselves. Like, we love teamwork. We love each other. It's a blast. And that's just what we do. We're all about hard work.
I mean, and hard work. But you guys have had an opportunity to train together and run up to this event because you were at Dubai. You came 5th. I'll come to you. What did you learn from those experiences?
Well, we figured out which events were strong for us and what we need to work on. So each time we enter a competition or a qualifier, we're just hammering those weaknesses and trying to be more well-rounded.
Between you all, I've worked out that you probably have 3 games appearances and something like 18 regional appearances, which is massive. But in particular to you, Zach, you're one of the athletes who have yet to make it to the games. So what would it mean to you to be able to go as a team with this group of individuals?
Yeah, so ever since you start CrossFit and you decide that you want to compete, you just look at the games and like that's where you want to be. And like you work so hard and you want to get there, and now like this is our chance, so we're going to take it. We're gonna make the most out of this opportunity. Yeah.
Talk to me about this workout. How easy is it to transition from going for big max like lifts into heavy reps for time? I'll go to you, Joey.
I think I like that we did this first, got the jitters out of the way. I think like we were all just a little nervous about this one. And going into the snatch, I know I can speak for myself, I didn't snatch as much as I would have liked to, so I took it out on that next workout. And Zach and I just went touch and go 5s till the very end and gave the girls a good lead, and then they just crushed it and hit a home run.
Is there a little bit of extra pressure to you girls following the boys, seeing the boys go through it all and then having to keep the pace up?
Well, it's nice they got us a little bit of a lead, but we're actually very competitive too when we train, so we don't necessarily want the boys to beat us. So it's like, well, they did a good job, so we've got to match that. We have to do just as good, if not better. We'll probably go and compare our times here in a minute.
There's probably more pressure on us to keep up with them.
I love that. That's probably my favorite thing. We're hopefully we'll chat to you guys a little bit later in the competition. Really well on the floor today.
Thank you.
But a pleasure to see you all. Have a good one.
Thanks, Lauren. Well done to the guys from Central Beast. That's a terrific first workout. It looks like these guys could be our favorites. Is that fair to say? We mentioned them in dispatches at the start. Central Beast are really, I think, from hearing how they're talking and how they want to be one of the best teams and being teammates and supporting each other, these guys could be our first real deal.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's in no way in the bag for them, but I just love the attitude. I love what they did on the floor. They're strong athletes. I'm looking forward to seeing what their engines feel like. But they've definitely got the potential to go out there and do great things this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of them.
So now that you've seen all the teams, your thoughts overall as to who you think has made a good start. Obviously, the guys who won each of their respective heats, but we've got to remember that heat number 3 was our top 10 qualifying teams. Do you think there's other teams in the other 2 heats that will be challenging these guys?
Let's put it this way. I think that within day 1 we're going to see a lot of different teams kind of pop out and present themselves. I don't think it's going to fall into place until the beginning of tomorrow, and I think the rest of these teams know. I think there are a couple of teams that weren't quite happy with the outing they had right now. They're going to come home, or they're going to go back and they're going to regroup for the next workout, and I think we're going to see them making a lot of moves. Central Beasts look awesome in this. I love the attitude. I love how relaxed they are, but I'm not sure that they're going to be unchallenged for very long.
I think that's the case. There's going to be a lot of teams who've got a lot of big say to come into this event, and I don't think that there's anybody counting any chickens at this stage of the day. They've got a long, long way to go. There's still another crazy number of workouts for these guys today. So we're not too far away from our first elite female heat. That's coming up at 10:15 a.m. We've got some fantastic athletes coming through on that. That'll be the first of 4 heats in the elite females, and they will be doing 19.1. This is the open workout that we commented and we supported on Thursday/Friday morning. Remind us of that. Remind us of how important this workout is.
It's so important for so many reasons. First of all, it's the beginning of the competition, so your sanctioned event starts with it. It's your way to get started in the event, which is going to be super, super, super important. But also, these athletes are all doing the open, and this is also a part of your open score. So you really need to go out there and give it your everything. Not that you wouldn't necessarily always do that, but in the back of your head, you could think that, you know what, I've got an entire weekend, I can take it easy, I just want to get a good start. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to go out there and give it everything you've got, or you're going to have to do it one more time.
I think, look, there's that workout. Look, I think every athlete, everybody who does CrossFit in the world, around the world, who's engaged in the open, would look at that workout and think, I can do this. I can do this. We've heard chats about the number of rounds that they think they can get. We have Sam Briggs. We mentioned it earlier. Sam Briggs laid down 9 rounds on the dot in her 15-minute time cap. We look at the guys who have since done it, and that has been surpassed.
It has, yes. That being said, I mean, I'm getting a lot of text messages from people who go, you know, I just got 10 rounds. I haven't seen the footage of that, so I don't know how legit it is. 10 rounds of this is just, it blows my mind. Samantha Briggs, known as the Engine, goes out there and throws down, gets 9 rounds. I don't know how anybody would get another one. I want to see the footage of it, but it's out there.
Awesome. Well, okay, so we're actually going to take a little break here. We're going to throw up. We'll be back after a short break, and we'll see you shortly.
When do you feel most
Okay, welcome back. We just had a short break there. We are 1 minute away, 1.5 minutes away from the first workout for the elite female athletes. And we know what this is. We've seen this. I think the whole CrossFit world is talking about this workout, Mads. How are these guys, now that they've seen this come through quite a few times, people talking about reps, talking about the number of rounds they're going to achieve, how are these guys going to?
I mean, with the experience that they've had from other events, they're going to go out there and attack it probably differently than they would have if they were doing it at 1 o'clock in the morning. Currently, the best female athlete, according to the games leaderboard, has 9 full rounds and 2 wall balls. That's 344 reps. Is Lucy Campbell from the UK. And I think that's what these guys are going to go out there and try to measure themselves against.
And do you think these guys will be aiming for that 9 and a bit rounds? It does seem like 9+ is probably the real marker, isn't it? That's
Sam, it is.
Sam was close, right? She's won this. She's won 2 events. Okay, so we're 15 seconds away from this workout kicking in. So we've got the first heat. We'll run through the athletes as we're going through this. So we've got 10 athletes in this first heat. In fact, actually, no, we've got 9 athletes in this first heat. And we are off. Don't have our first athlete in lane number 1, but in lane number 2, we've got Jenny Swallow. In lane 3, we've got Cara Milligan. In lane number 4, we've got Johanna Nielsen. In lane number 5, we have Jenna Heron. In lane number 6, we've got Agatha Herbert. In lane number 7, we've got Suzanne Birchall. In lane number 8, we've got Valentina Faccini. In lane number 9, we've got Natasha Watkis. Lane number 10, we've got Jenna McKean. So let's look out for those guys and see how they approach the first 30 seconds of this 15-minute workout. Got our first guys onto the rowers. There's some really racing off there. There's some real sort of pacing going on, lads.
And that's the treacherous thing about the rower, isn't it? It always looks like you're just kind of taking it easy. It never looks like you're going full speed. But it's taxing. It is very, very taxing. Also, you're going to have a couple of different techniques. Some of these athletes are going to go out there and they're going to start to go. They're going to try to go for more of a higher cadence, so to speak. The stroke rate will be faster. Others will slow it down, but work a lot more with their arms, a lot harder pull.
We're going to go and have a look at lane number 3. We've got Cara Milligan in lane number 3. So Cara looks like she's moving through very nicely, very consistently there on the rower. Not going too fast, not going too slow. Just mentioned about that pacing piece, and she has got 5. She's done with her first round, so that's 1 minute 37 first round, not going off too fast.
I think it's a good speed. I mean, they're going to be somewhere around 90 seconds per lap, and this is Susanna Burkall, I think, doing good. She's doing a great job right there on the wall balls. It's all about being relaxed in the bottom position, getting a fast turnaround but not expending too much energy, making sure the ball hits the wall right so you don't have to lean forward to catch it, but you also don't have to lean backwards.
We're going to go to lane number 2. Jenny Swallow is our leader in this first heat of the elite women. So it's well done to her for making that first move. 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes into the heat. She has started very, very well.
She had. I mean, it's a great start. We saw Kelly Friel come off a little bit faster when at the announcement, and that punished itself a little bit later. We saw her the speed of her rounds drop significantly because she came out too hard, and that's what I'm looking for right now. We don't know who's going to do that. I mean, she looks really, really steady on the rower. It looks great, but you want to make sure that they're not expending too much energy and effectively hitting the wall.
It's interesting when we spoke about Kelly Friel from the open workout and the announcement on Thursday night, Friday morning. I'm going to keep referencing it that way because that was what we were working. But in terms of how Kelly approached that, she had a first split for her first round. Crazy time, but then as the workout went on,
she did struggle just a little bit, and I think it's easy for that to happen. Kelly's going to do it again, and she's going to do a whole lot better. So it's easy to struggle just a little bit when the game plan is the way it is and it's the middle of the night and so on and so forth. these athletes should have been looking at that. They should have tried it out. They should have gone through a couple of rounds just making sure that, you know, the speed is exactly what they want it to be. And then from there on out, game plan it. So what do you want for every single round? And do you want a different time for different rounds as well?
You think these athletes would have done 19.1 already, or do you think?
Oh, I think for 95%, this is the first go, and then they're probably going to want to do it one more time. But there will be a couple out there. We saw Adrian Mundweiler yesterday on the way to the gym, just because he wanted to get it out of the way to make sure he had a good score. That being said, Adrian Mundweiler is known for just that, just going out there reckless.
Some reckless athletes will do very well when they come into this workout. Others might not, but they might be suffering after it when they come through.
He does do very well. I mean, Adrian Mundweiler is an amazing athlete, and obviously he's got the capacity to go out there and do a workout like this and be perfectly fresh the next day as well.
Talking about Mundweiler, do you think he is an early competitor, an early sort of favourite for
Well, I think yes. I think he's got plenty of capacity, and I think he is definitely one of the guys I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, look, we're just going to keep an eye on the floor here to see how these guys are going, and it's going to be a good start. I know this is a tough workout because this is just going to burn. So we're going to go and have a look at lane 7. It's Suzanne Birchall here in lane number 7, and we'll see how she's coping with this workout so far. Talk about the technique of the erg and the rowing sort of going through here. Some of them have got some very different techniques. Now, some people, there's a lot of work going into rowing education for efficiency in the world of CrossFit. A lot of rowers who have made the transition to the world. Tell us about how the different technical approaches can help these guys work.
I mean, there are so many different ways of doing it. And there's one of the things is that you often hear, oh, she's doing it wrong. The athlete right in the middle of your screen right now, you see her heels coming off a little bit in the bottom, which will fry out her quads, and somebody would say, well, that's not the right way to do it. That being said, she needs to find the techniques that's most efficient for her. Personally, I would like to see the heels stay in the mat. I'd like to see her catch with fully extended arms. I'd like to have her sit up just a little bit more. That being said, she's qualified for this competition. Obviously, she's got a technique that fits her really well.
Like a golf swing. Everybody has their own approach.
It definitely is. I think one of the important things is if I were an athlete, or if I get to coach any athlete, do a rowing seminar. Spend some time with somebody who is efficient on a rower, and from there on out, try to find your way on the rower. Don't start by trying to find your own way and then adding what's the correct, the quote unquote, the correct technique afterwards.
Does it hurt people if they try and overthink it? Danger of overthinking it?
Not necessarily. You should be spending a lot of time on it. Look right here. At that technique right here.
Lane number 4, this is Johanna Nielsen.
What I like to see Johanna do is that her handle is moving all the time. She's got good posture. Her heels are still coming up just a little bit the way we were talking about. I would correct that, but that being said, this fits her well. The danger is if you fry the quads and then you move on to the wall balls. Wall balls are going to get heavy pretty fast.
Just coming up to 7 minutes on the workout, so another 8 minutes left on the cap. There's we're just moving through just to see who might be our leader. I think the early favourite coming out of this heat and one to keep an eye on is lane number 6, Agatha Herbert. So there's some sense that she can do well in this workout and can do a great score to put the marker on the open round.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how these athletes handle the back part of the 15 minutes. This is really interesting in the first 7.5 minutes, but it's basically about setting yourself up for success and not overexerting too much.
On how those leaders are going, but these guys are flying through actually to the consistent pacing, making sure the pacing is spot on. Just going back to the rower, you were talking about the heels up. Why the heels down and not up? What is making the difference?
It's just when your heels come down, it allows you to engage your posterior chain a lot better. So your hamstrings, your glute, your lower back. So you get a division of force. So it's more muscles producing the same work, which means that no one muscle is carrying too much weight. So it's just about efficiency.
And it's looking like in lane number 8, Valentina Faccini has got some efficiency with her wall balls there as well.
And when you look at the wall ball, what you want to look for is you want to look for the athletes to be relaxed once they release the ball. So relax, just get a breather, and then when they catch the ball, that they don't have to lean too much forward, don't have to lean too much backwards either, and that they get a swift turnaround in the bottom position as well. You want to hit that bottom, you want to pop out. You don't want to hit it and then drive out of there. So you need a little bit of an explosion in the bottom position.
Now, wall balls seem to be everybody's favorite. Would you say they're everybody's favorite in the not being their favorite?
Well, it's kind of like a thruster. Everybody, not very many people enjoy the thrusters because it's just very, very taxing. Wall balls is kind of the same way, but a lot lighter weight. It's the same movement, a lot lighter weight. You get a little bit of a breather, but at some point you just need to start paying the man.
We're just looking there at lane number 2, Jenny Swallow, who is our early leader in this. She's coming down to 5 calories left on her latest round. We're trying to find out what rounds these athletes are on. I think she's looking like she's coming through maybe round number 5, but we'll try and get that verified for you guys at home. So we're going to have a look at lanes 3 and 4. We've got Cara Milligan and Johanna Nielsen, as we mentioned earlier. Johanna was flying through in terms of her technique and looking good on the rower. And it looks like Cara Milligan is nailing it from a wall ball's point of view. In terms of efficiency of the arm movement on a wall ball, you see people who do the sort of the cycle and the arms come through. Is there an ideal approach to a wall ball?
Not really. I mean, what I'd like to see is just don't hold your arms out and wait for the ball. Just like bring them down and then catch the ball after that. And I think it's all about catching the. It's all about catching the ball on the way down and making sure that you position yourself so you don't have to kind of make any kind of corrections. I think that's where it gets troublesome.
Well, as I say, we're just going to see how these guys do. We've just got under 4.5 minutes to go, so we're going back to Jenny Swallow. Jenny does seem to be probably laying down the first markers in this heat. She's rolling down the knee braces there. Is that going to help her on the rower? Is that fatigue, or is she going to pull them back up for when she's back on the wall balls?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of these instructional videos or the tips that are being brought on or put online, and I'm not sure if it makes all that much of a difference, to be perfectly honest with you. I think what we're starting to see now is just it's fatigue. Her strokes per minute are going down. She's resting the handle just a little bit, and what it basically does is it means she comes back to the catch position a little bit slower, and it makes it heavier.
So we're going to go to lane 4. It's back to Johanna Nielsen. We've had a look at Johanna on this row already. She seems to still be being consistently strong. She seems to have gone through this workout with a very, very well-paced approach.
I think it's interesting when we see Johanna right now. Her heels are actually starting to come down a little bit more than they did to start with. So I think that's interesting.
So she's done another round there. So look, she's not rushing. They sort of just over 3.5 minutes to go. Johanna sort of seems to be an early leader. And I think it's we're just going to sort of have a look through all these athletes and see where they're coming through as they work through this workout.
So in the middle of your screen, black tights and the gray bra, that was Johanna Nielsen. And when you see the picture like this is awesome because you can see how effortless she's moving through her wall ball. She's not really losing anything. She's doing a great job, and they look the same way as they did in the very beginning. Now just feast your eyes on the other athletes as well.
Okay, so we're going to go and have a look at Jenna McKean in lane number 10. She is head down pain. That just looks like pain going on there.
That is definite pain, and that's one of the things. I mean, Jenna's struggling right now, and you've got to appreciate that she's not letting go at all. But what happens when you struggle that way is that you start abandoning the technique that is optimal for the movement, and so you just expend more energy. So you're basically digging the hole a little bit deeper. Personally, though, I've got to tell you, I just love what she's doing right now. She's digging deep. She's not letting go.
Yeah, she's not looking like she's enjoyed, but she's just got that last calorie out there, so she's. Well done to her. She's just got over 2 minutes. All these athletes have got just over 2 minutes to go. They'll be pretty pleased when this comes to an end, I imagine. This is a bit of a burner. This is going to hurt. And is this going to affect their preparation? We talked about the teams in terms of going in for the next WOD, the next workout. How much of this workout is going to hurt? Because we saw after on the open announcement the other night, the athletes were on the floor. They were in pain for a good sort of 5, 10, 15 minutes after that.
They were, and I mean the next workout that these guys are gonna do is gonna be bar muscle ups, handstand walks, and a hang dumbbell snatch. So it's not that much legs, But that being said, it's just they need to go out and they need to keep moving. They need to rehydrate. They need to get a little bit of protein, BCAA, or whatever it is that they want to take. Probably some wine gums as well to get blood sugar back up. But they need to do that. The only thing they can't do is go out, sit down, and go, you know, that was really, really hard. They need to start preparing for the next event immediately afterwards, or at least setting themselves up for success.
Awesome. So we're here at lanes 3 and 4. We've spoken about these guys already. It's Cara Milligan again and Johanna Nielsen. Johanna's form still looks solid as a rock.
It still does. I mean, it's the pace that she's had all the way through. She doesn't look like she's going faster. She's not going slower. I like that.
Is there an ideal body composition for a wall ball rower combination, or is it designed to suit different body types?
No. It's called Cam Newton. So if you're a tall, very experienced, very capable rower.
Cam Newton or Cam Nicole?
Cam Newton. The football player.
The football player, okay.
I was just kidding.
Just wanted to check.
No. I was kidding. I'm kidding with you. No. Cam Nickel is the one I was alluding to, definitely. The football players probably wouldn't do very well here. So we got another 30 seconds to go, and this is when you're going to see in lane number 3 and lane number 4 trying to make a bit of a move on the rower. Both of them going faster now than they have before.
If they're moving faster now, does that suggest they could have moved faster earlier?
Excuse me, what was that?
If they're moving faster now, does that suggest they could have moved faster earlier, or is this now the final piece? You just get in there and get as many calories in as you can and pull this through.
I think this is about what they had.
So there we go. So that is the end of the first heat. We're going to see a lot of athletes on the floor. There's Johanna. I think we'll take that as that hurts, shall we? I think we'll translate that as that hurts.
Yes, that was a beautiful effort. And I think it answers your question. Should they have gone faster earlier? The answer is no.
All right, so congratulations to these athletes. Well done. That's your first workout of this weekend done. You now know how hard this has been. This is going to be punchy. I think Lauren's going to go and have a chat to some of those athletes down on the floor, but we'll give them a chance to get some recovery in. We've got the second heat coming up, actually in a little bit of time, so in 10:35, so in about just under 5 minutes to go to the second heat, and we'll be seeing some more of the athletes coming through then. So this is the excitement is still building to this, isn't it? I think, look, the early start gets people, you can see the crowd coming in. There's really great crowds coming through here right now. And that is awesome to see. There's so many people are coming through. And the support, how much is the support driving those athletes to do better?
Oh, but it's huge. I mean, you know from being in the box, if you got a couple of people around you cheering you on, you're going to be more enthusiastic about it. You're going to dig a little bit deeper. So imagine this. This place is packed. The crowd is loud. You've got a bunch of other great athletes right around you. Obviously, you're going to go harder and harder and harder. So I think that's what we're seeing right now is we're seeing them dig just a little bit deeper. Also, they're fresh. They don't have another event that they have to kind of parry for before they walk in here. They can just go in there, throw down.
That's the awesome thing about this as well. We shouldn't forget that across this weekend, we've also got an RX competition going on as well, which is quite a unique setup for these events in that we've actually got a whole other competition taking place. And that's really exciting. We're not going to see too much of that on the stream, but you will see that on social media. So if you want to see if you've got friends taking part in that, you can have a look on the Strength In Depth social media channels as well. But we will be focusing on the elite competition this weekend. But it's important to remember that those guys are out there and doing their thing as well at a slightly different level, but it doesn't change how big an event this weekend is for them.
Not at all. And I mean, one of the things I think we need to remember is that next year's participants may currently be in the RX division. That's where they're getting their experience. So let's definitely, I think it's a beautiful thing that we can have them side by side.
Awesome. So I think we are ready. Lauren is down there on the floor, and we'll hand over to Lauren. Lauren.
Yeah, I'm here with a very tired Cara. I mean, you and Johanna next to you were neck and neck throughout that entire workout. That must have really driven you, especially in those final few pulls on the rower.
Yeah, I mean, I can see her just through the corner of my eye. I tried my best just to focus on the screen, to focus on my own split, and I mean, you can't control what anybody else is pulling, so just focus on your own screen and keep trying to push the pace right to the end.
When it got announced, it was only like a day and a half ago, because it was obviously at midnight in our country. Did you have a chance to practice it at all, or was this your first attempt?
There was the chance to do it yesterday, and I know some people opted to hit it yesterday, but I didn't. It's just such a different dynamic when it's your open score, plus you're trying to fight for a place in here. So, I mean, it's good because everything's at stake, but you're trying to balance the two of those and wonder, should I do it a day early, see how it feels, so I didn't do it and just give it everything out there.
Well, congrats, it's an awesome performance. Hope we'll speak to you a little bit later. Good luck for the rest of the comp.
Thanks, Laura, and well done to Cara on that. She looks like she's worked incredibly hard on that workout, so we're going through some of the replays here from that. It's interesting to hear what she had to say there, man.
It definitely is, and I mean, she's absolutely right. You know what's going on around you, but you really kind of need to stay in your lane, making sure that you're not influenced by what everybody else does.
Okay, so we've only got just over a minute to go to heat number 2 for the elite females. We should run through the starting order for that as well, just so people are aware of who's coming through. And we'll just ask you, Mads, your thoughts on who to look out for in this second heat. But we'll go through the lane orders firstly. So in lane number 1, we're going to have Caitlin Rana. In lane number 2, we've got Maddie Harris. In lane number 3, we're going to have Manon Saint-Maxon. In lane number 4, we've got Jane Bjorn. In lane number 5, Candice Rubenstein. In lane number 6, we're going to have Elena Caratala Chanua. Apologies for the pronunciation. In lane number 7, Sapphire Goddard. In lane 8, Ella Wilkinson. Lane number 9, Emma Pilkington. And I'm going to have to hand over to you, Mads, on the pronunciation of this name.
Frida Agerholm Møller.
Thank you very much. I'll see if I can remember that later on. But in terms of your initial thoughts on looking at that starting list, who to look out, who are you excited about seeing in this workout?
I think it's going to be really even, but I'm looking forward to seeing lane number 1, Caitlin Rana. This is an event that would fit very well for her. She's a slightly bigger athlete, which means that on the rower it's going to play to her strengths, and also on the wall balls. That being said, there are a lot of names on here that I look forward to seeing.
Awesome. Well, here we go. We are there. We are heat number 2, 19.1. Remember, is our opening workout for this weekend. So again, just thoughts on pacing him as we look at how these girls go off.
Also,
consistency of movement already, or is there people struggling? Is there going to be some nerves factoring into this?
Well, there's definitely going to be some nerves, which usually means that people will fly themselves, will go out there and they're going to go just a little bit faster on their first round, but then they find their own pace. So Callie Milligan, who was tied with Nielsen for the win in the first heat, her first round was 1 minute and 37 seconds, and then after that it got just a little bit slower going through the rest of it. And I think we're going to see the same thing here. Once again, remember that these athletes saw the previous athletes, they saw the open announcement, and they've seen people online doing this. So they've got so much information. And I think what they need to do is just stay in their line.
Yeah, there's a lot of info, there's a lot of analysis that can be done. There's a lot of experience that's now out there for this workout, and people now can share their feelings on it and say, you know what, I went out too fast, I went out too slow, I didn't go out with enough strength. If you were to sort of look at this workout yourself and say, you know what, I didn't quite get the pacing on this right, how would you then sort of try and improve that or change that? Could you change it?
Well, I mean, they can change from round to round. So obviously, I think that the problem with too much information is that in your head, you start building these ghosts where you're like, oh, this person did it this fast and did it that fast and so on and so forth. But I mean, you need to go out there and play to your strengths.
So you mentioned who you were looking forward to seeing in this heat is Caitlin Rayner in lane number 1. We're just here down with her right now. She had a no rep on that wall ball. That's unusual.
It is unusual, but it's one of these things where you need to kind of dial it in. Like, what does it look like? Is it a target that looks different than what you've seen before? Is this a kind of bright target with a bright background? Maybe there's lighting and so on and so forth. I mean, the first round and the second round wouldn't think too much about it. What I'd like to see Caitlin do is go just a little bit faster on the turnaround than the wall balls, though. That being said, knowing Caitlin, she's been around for so long, but looking forward to seeing if she holds on to it.
Again, it's interesting to see the first couple of pulls on the row. We saw Sam Briggs approach. She was doing the quick cycle to get that air, as you mentioned, into the erg. There's a few of them taking the longer pull with the more sort of the strength that goes into that. Just explain the difference for many athletes when they do that.
Well, so you can start, if I'm doing a 2K row with for time, I want to start with a big pull, get a bunch of air in there, and then kind of feed off of that momentum. And that's great. But when you're doing multiple sets the way that they are right now, what I'd do is I'd probably go out there, try to fill the barrel halfway, and then go for a full pull, just so the bottom position or bottom part of that pull isn't going to be too hard. The more you pull, the harder this baby gets. And especially on the first one. So that's what I would do. That being said, if you've always started with a big pull, then by all means, continue to do so. But I would try to minimize that tension by going out, filling the barrel half pull, and then go for a full pull.
It's interesting, isn't it, how technique and tactics also play such a big part in these workouts.
They do, and that's why, I mean, feast yourself on the Concept 2 website for good advice. Go out there, do a rowing seminar. I mean, there's so much to be gained from it. It's not just that you get faster, it's expending less energy so that you can be faster on other things as well.
We're just looking across the floor here to see who might be moving most efficiently. Obviously, the challenge with this type of event is that you've got to keep moving, and it seems to be the case with so many CrossFit workouts. In terms of these things, you just have to keep moving. We're going to head over to Sapphire Goddard in lane number 7. So let's have a look at see how Sapphire is getting on, and let's have a look at her technique as she goes through this. Those wall balls look pretty smooth.
They look really good, but please notice that she has to jump on every single solitary rep. That's expending a lot of energy to start with. I mean, we're still early days. We're 4.5 minutes into this, and that's going to cost her a little bit later.
Why would she be doing that? Is that just personal technique coming into play? Is it just the fact that the ball is of the weight that she does need to just give it that little bit of extra oomph to get up there?
Well, so the weight's definitely not going to be a problem in any way, shape, or form. I think it's just a technique that she's probably always had, and you're going to find athletes that feel more confident with a little bit of a jump could do that, and others will stand up and use their shoulders a little bit more. So it's every individual athlete has their own kind of poison. I just think in an event like this where you're going to have so many wall balls, that's going to cost her.
So interesting, looking at here with Sapphire Goddard in lane number 7, it looks like her left foot is not taped in. It looks like she might have missed her fixing, or she's come loose. That's going to hurt this right now. That's going to make things hard for her.
Not necessarily. Obviously, I think it'd be great if she was strapped in on both feet, but not necessarily. These athletes spend a lot of time doing rowing drills, and a lot of the rowing drills you actually do them strapless just to work on your pull. So she will have done those, and it's not going to be a problem for her, but I think in the next round we're probably going to see her strap both in.
So do you think that was a tactical approach, or that's just moving through the workout and looking at it in a different, that was she just missed it and she's just going to getting on with it?
Yeah, I think she just missed it, and instead of spending time on trying to get it right, she just went, you know what, it's not going to make that much of a difference. It's just one round. That's it.
So we're going to go and say hello to Frida in lane number 10. Again, I'm not going to attempt the surname, apologies, but if you want to tell the viewers exactly what it is. Frida Muller. We'll go with Muller. Again, let's have a look at the technique here. She does not have, there's a little bit of a lift in the heels, but she looks pretty smooth with these wall balls.
I think it's beautiful execution of the wall balls. She's a slightly taller athlete, well balanced in her physical strength as well, which is why this looks easy. Also look at the rower right there. She's doing a great job of not overexerting herself on the first one. She just kind of finds her stroke and then pushes off.
There seems to be a kind of constant adjustment when they're on that rower. They're sort of sitting on that. Then maybe the first sit down they're not quite aligned. You just see the little adjustment in their backsides as they try and get onto the right position to make it as comfortable as possible to attack this.
If I were Frida's coach, at some point I would probably start talking about trying to avoid that the seat comes that far forward, because it does become an extension of the knee, and to a great extent, which fries out the quads. She's pretty much not using her posterior chain at all. That being said, she's making a great job out of this. I'm just thinking there are points where you can become more or less efficient, and considering how efficient she is in the wall balls, you know, if she could get the rower to work in her favor as well, she'd expend a little less energy. That being said, I love what I'm seeing from her.
She's doing a great start, so let's see how across the floor and just see how these athletes are moving in unison. It's interesting to see that we're going to have a look at lanes 1 and 2. So we're going to go back to Caitlin and also Maddie Harris here in lane number 2. Maddie looks like she's got a very short stroke on that, but she's just wrapped up that round, so well done to her. She's looking a little bit fatigued.
She is, and I think
halfway through the workout as well right now.
I think everybody's going to start feeling it right now. I'm really impressed with what we're seeing Caitlin do right here in lane number 1. She's holding on. It looks like her wall balls are going just a little bit faster than they were before. In a perfect world, I'd like to see her hit the ball on the target a little bit harder, or move forward just a little bit right now, because it feels like the ball's coming down in front of her. But looks really, really good.
Okay, so these guys are continuing to work. They're continuing to push. We're coming up to the 8-minute mark, so 7 minutes to go on this workout for 19.1. Event number 1 for the elite ladies here at the CrossFit Strength In Depth event here at Excel in London. Just to sort of get your thoughts on, here, Mads, on the in lane number 10. We're going to go back over to Frida in lane number 10, but Would you make her, from your experience of knowing her around the sort of the CrossFit community, would you see her as being a viable contender this weekend?
I think, to be honest with you, I think we've got some superheroes coming out, and I think Frida is it's gonna be challenging for Frida to pop into the top 5 or the top 8. But I think she's definitely one of these athletes I'd like to keep an eye on for the future. Just for her to be here at all, to qualify for this, speaks volumes of her capacity and the way she's out there conducting herself. I think she's definitely got a future. That being said, we've got some very, 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 very strong athletes in the event as well.
This is a very loaded field, isn't it? In terms of an elite competition here in Europe, we've obviously got stars from all over the world coming, but it's one hell of an elite ladies competition, and we can't wait to see how this day unfolds. But we're early into heat number 2. We've got another 2 to go, and it'll be interesting to see the comparisons as we work through the morning and work through the rest of the day.
What's interesting here is also that you've got Caitlin in lane number 1, you've got Frida in lane number 10, and what you're seeing is basically 2 athletes as far away from each other as they possibly can be. They've got no idea of the other athletes' existence or where they're at right now, so they really need to stay in their lane and not feed off slower athletes right next to them.
What do you think the athletes, if they ever kind of glance across, are you thinking, oh my God, well, they're miles ahead of me, or is it just get on with your own job?
I think they just need to get on with their own job. And one of the interesting things to remember right now, the heat number 1 winner was faster than the current heat number 2 leaders. So heat number 1 is actually going at a faster pace than heat number 2 are.
That's really interesting as we're talking about the seedings. Obviously we've got invitational athletes here as well as those qualifiers, and they are seeded according to their qualification period. And it's interesting to hear that actually that heat number 1 is quicker than heat number 2 in terms of the rates and the rounds that they're getting through.
No, absolutely, and so what we're looking at, just in case you didn't know, 19-1, 15-minute AMRAP, 19 wall ball shots, and 19 calories on the rower. The girls are hitting a 9-foot target with a 6-kilo ball, or 14 pounds if you're on the other side of the pond, and the guys will be hitting a 10-foot target with a 20-pound ball or a 9-kilo ball. Calories are the same, but I think it's just interesting to see how fast you kind of you start following the speed and the rhythm of the rest of the field. And also, I think we saw a couple of athletes in the first heat right next to each other, and so they kind of sped each other up. They kind of got each other into it. So I think that's probably the reason why we're seeing a slightly slower pace.
I was just going to pick up on that. It does seem that both Cara and Johanna did feed off each other a little bit through that first workout, and there doesn't seem to be that couplet, so to speak, in here where they can help each other a little bit and to drive each other on.
I mean, if Caitlin and Frida had been right next to each other, I think they would have probably been going faster.
That's interesting, and it's amazing what the power of another athlete in terms of competition and just to kind of keep you moving, to keep you sort of pulling you through. And maybe that kind of shows where teams can benefit later, sort of as we saw the teams earlier this morning. You've got the support of a teammate. In this individual, you've maybe got to try and find some inspiration from somewhere else.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, one of the things I've been seeing a lot, and it's just kind of a thought that we've been having as well. Wall balls take the time that wall balls do. Once that ball is kind of left your hands, you can't really do too much about it. The difference between the time on the wall balls really it's not that much. It's a little bit, as you can see right here, between the 2 athletes on the right and the left of your screen. So there's a little bit of a difference, but it's not that much. The rower is where you can make your move.
It does seem like the rower is the kind of the deciding factor here, isn't it? That's the thing that's going to separate these athletes as they can move through this. Just over 2 minutes to go for Frida, 2 minutes to go for all these athletes.
I just want to throw one thing out there. We were just talking about the field being packed. If there's anything we know from the games in the past, it is that the European female athletes are absolute rock stars. They've been tearing through the games for years and years and years. So a European show like this is where it's all at.
Who do you think? Let's look forward to Madison later on this year. We obviously know a few qualifiers. If you were to pick a winner right now, I know this is hard. It's a long way away. Who do you see? Is it Tia Claire Toomey? Is it Sarah Sigmundsdottir? Is it Katrin Davidsdottir? Who are you seeing as maybe the early front runner to lay down their claim?
Tia Toomey is amazing, and I'm impressed with how she went about her business, and I'm impressed with the development of her over the last couple of years. So Tia Toomey, you can't not have her in the mix. I also think that Katrin Tanya looked really, really good Sam is coming off. She's back with a vengeance, so don't count her out yet. When it comes to Sarah Sigmundsdottir, I'm looking forward to seeing what she's got. This will be the kind of the first outing that I really see her in. I mean, I saw her in the other competitions, but she was kind of like overshadowed by some other athletes. I want to see her come into her own, healthy and strong, and I want to see if she's in contention.
So the lady that you called out early on in this heat, Caitlin Rayner, she is actually we're hearing from the floor that she is actually our current leader in this workout, but she has just hit a bit of a wall. So lanes 1 and 10. So we've got Caitlin and Frida. Lanes 1 and 10 in this workout are very, very close to each other in this workout. It looks like Frida might well have just taken the lead. Caitlin did have a failed wall ball there. She looked like fatigue really did hit her hard, and it looks like Frida is taking this away.
I think it was the breather that Caitlin just took has cost her the lead. I think to Frida. So right now she's talking to her judge, finding out how much time she's got left, whether she wants to sprint. And that's what you see her.
We just saw the acceleration there, didn't we?
Pulling harder, making sure to go as far as you can. 30 seconds to go.
So let's see how fast she can pull this out. And it's interesting to see. We should be able to sort of relay some results over to you guys in the latter part this morning. So it does look like Frida is going to be the leader from this heat. Obviously, this score is relevant to this competition as well as the Open. So this is an open score. This will go towards their Open scoreboard as well as today's scoreboard.
Definitely.
And that is the heat done. And let's see all the athletes on the floor again. So that's going to happen, I think.
Everybody's inspecting the geometrics floor.
Yes. I think these athletes are hurting. Look at Frida after that.
God.
That was a... Gosh, she worked hard in that workout, didn't she?
She worked really, really hard, and I think she did really, really well with the game plan. I think it worked out just the way she wanted it to as well. I think her wall balls were amazing. I think she saved a bunch of energy, and then on the rower she made her move. I think she's got a little bit of technical things that she could change on the rower, but just her body composition, I think she was made for the rower.
So it looks like Frida she's just trying to sign off on her final score to have a look at that, but it looks like I'm not ready to sign that just yet. But you see, there's a lot of floor work going on, as we say. So I think Lauren is going to have a chat to the winners a little bit later on, but I think, as he said earlier, let them find some recovery time. But we are going to be moving into heat number 3 in the next few minutes. So it's 10:55, so just over 3.5 minutes away. But as we go through this, anybody who's standing out, again, I'm going to use Sam Briggs as our measuring point. She nailed that workout on Thursday, Friday. Who are you thinking? Looking at Caitlin here. Caitlin is really struggling to get these legs stretched out.
And that's exactly what she needs to do. She needs to get off the floor. She needs to start moving, get that blood flowing through her legs again. That's what she needs to do. But getting off the floor like that, you don't want to. Everything within your being says sit down, lie down, take it easy. But what she needs to do is keep moving.
So we're seeing Steve Fawcett there in the background. He went through that workout as well on Thursday and Friday, and he had some interesting take on it. He wasn't putting himself under too much pressure. Would you say that pressure is on for these athletes as they come through this workout when they come into this event? Are they feeling the pressure of this?
Oh God, yes, definitely they are. There are so many factors playing into this. Just the fact that it's the first event of the competition. You want to have a good start. It's also the Open. It's the start of the Open. So, everybody's hopes are still up high. I think there's definitely a lot of pressure.
Well, it's interesting what pressure can do to performance. So that we see it across the world of elite sport in so many places. Pressure does equal potentially worse or better performances, and it's dependent on how you react to that.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Okay, so we'll have a run through. So we're just under 2.5 minutes away. And it looks like Lauren is ready to have a chat, but we're just going to sort of come down to Lauren as soon as we're ready. But it looks like Lauren is going to be having a chat to Caitlin. Are we good to go, Lauren?
Yeah, guys, we're just hanging down here waiting for our call. But, I mean, Caitlin, my God, that looked like it was all in the legs.
Yeah, it was, really. But a little bit in the breathing as well. I've been staying home all week in a flu, so this was kind of a shock for my entire body.
You did really well. You were neck and neck with an athlete over in lane. You probably didn't even realise in lane 10, all the way at the top end. And I've read before that you come from a gymnastics background and a figure skating background, and your favourite workout's DT. This could not be further removed, and you pulled out a performance like that. You must be really happy.
Yeah, I'm really happy. As you said, I had no idea what the other one was doing. I was just focusing on my own, trying to like keep a good pace and not resting as much. So it feels really good. Yeah, I'm really happy.
What are you looking forward to in the rest of the competition?
It'll probably be the snatch. I love snatching heavy. And also, I think the handstand walk and bar muscle up event, that's next one.
Well, good luck. I'll let you get away and start working on your legs, but congratulations. It's a great score.
Thanks, Lauren, for that. Well done to Caitlin on that first workout. It's interesting to hear her talking about her gymnastics and ice skating background. That isn't, as Lauren rightly said, that wouldn't necessarily be the right set of ingredients to help you in this workout.
Not necessarily. That being said, Caitlin has been on the circuit for so long that I'm not surprised to see her do well. She's just a wealth of experience, and she knows her body and her capacity well. What's interesting, though, is that she spent a week at home with the flu, and that was what led her up to this. I mean, you couldn't prepare in a worse way.
That's the worst thing about this time of the year, potentially, is there's so many sort of flu bugs going around, and these athletes have to work hard to steer clear of it and to look after their bodies.
Yes. No, I'm just impressed that she's on the floor and that she's doing as well as she is with that kind of setup.
And it just shows her determination to not mess with that. So we're 20 seconds away from the next workout. We can see the athletes lined up. Let's run through the starting order. In lane number 1, we've got Karis Webster. In lane number 2, we've got Emma Tall. In lane number 3, we've got Casey Dolan. In lane number 4, we've got Laura Faulkner. In lane number 5, we've got Jane Eady. In lane number 6, we've got Taylor Howe. In lane number 7, we've got Agneta Tucker. In lane number 8, we've got Joe McGurk. In lane number 9, we've got Sam Bentrice. And lane number 10, we've got Paula Zagowski. Mads, thoughts on this starting order list and who you're looking forward to in heat number 3?
There are a lot of athletes I'm looking forward to seeing. Emma Tull right here in the middle of you, sorry, in the right part of your screen. I think she's going to do really, really well. Talking to her yesterday just a little bit, and she really, there she is dropping the ball just like that. But
commentator's curse there, Matt.
It is. I'm sorry about that, Emma. We'll talk about it later. No, but she was really looking forward to this, and I think it's an event that she could do really well, and she's super, super powerful. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. I think Agneta Tucker is the same kind of body competition, and I'd like to see her do very, very well here as well. It's just interesting because they're a little bit shorter athletes, but absolute powerhouses, which is why I think they could be doing really, really well. Taylor Howe, weightlifting background. I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. So just a lot of different components here that could, well, it could mess it up for a lot of people.
So we talk about technique. We've spoken about that a few times in the previous heats. Again, it's interesting to really look at, and like some of these athletes have turned their erg the other way. Why have they done that? Is that just something that they feel that they can face the floor in a different way? What do you think the psychology behind that is?
I don't know. It could be something about the transitions and moving in, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to make that much difference. But at this point, there's another thing that you need to remember. It's all about being confident and being comfortable. And if it feels more comfortable looking the other way, by all means, do so.
It might be, do they feel like they're going to flow better as they kind of get off the erg and they can walk in? Is it sort of to free up the legs a little bit? It'd be interesting to see some of these other athletes. We've got Laura Faulkner actually in lane number 4. She's from CrossFit Bath. She's a massive British athlete. She's been to regionals. Her boyfriend, her other half, is also a fantastic athlete as well, Alec Harwood. And we see Laura doing her job there. She is a phenomenal athlete herself. I would say in the CrossFit world, maybe a bit petite. And we talked about having to jump. She's having to put some big jumps in there to get that wall ball moving.
Exactly, and that's going to cost her just a little bit. Also on the rower, from not being a super heavy athlete, you know, it takes a bit of a toll. Obviously, you're going to be able to lower the damper and not, and so it won't play that much of a role. But at the same time, it's just easier for a heavier athlete to get a lot of air in there, get that drum rolling, and then get the calories going faster.
And we're just moving over to lane number 5, Jane Eady. Now, Jane Eady was also part of the Team JST in 2017. What are her strengths as an individual athlete?
Well, I think she's just a really well-rounded athlete, and And I think that kind of speaks into her volume. Nothing's really super out of her wheelhouse, and she's doing a great job just having the games experience, having the regionals experience, being at these smaller local events as well. I think Jane is she's a full package.
Well, I think she's shown her capabilities of moving Team JST at the games, and she's got her erg landing at a different angle. Again, this is maybe just preference that's coming into this.
And I mean, she does get off the rower really, really fast. They just don't know if that transition is what's going to make it or break it. They feel it is, and it just may be so. I mean, when I say I don't know if that's going to be the difference, it means I'm about to find out.
All right, we're going to head to lane 7 and 8. We've got Agneta Tucker here in lane number 7 and Joe McGurk in lane number 8. Again, we're sort of talking about the technique of the wall ball, the movement, the efficiency in that, and also looking at Joe McGurk on the rower. Just give us your thoughts on those two right now.
Well, Agneta Tucker moves really, really well. I mean, just look at the bottom position of that wall ball. She pops out really, really fast. She hits the target. She doesn't really have to jump over excessively. I think she's setting her up for herself up for success.
Okay, just a reminder as well about this workout, just for anybody tuning in now, just to reiterate, this is 19.1. This is the open workout to kick it all off for 2019. It's a 15-minute AMRAP. 19 wall ball shots, 19 calorie row. As many rounds as possible in 15 minutes. That's some seriously challenging conditions.
It really is. We've seen some of the best athletes in the world be super challenged by this event, and I think it just speaks volume. The thing is, we talked about it at the announcement. We've talked about it right now. The athletes are saying it themselves. The simpler it looks, the harder it will be.
Sometimes simple is difficult.
Exactly. So right here we've got the entire field, and it's kind of interesting to see when everything is kind of everybody's moving their rowers in their individual directions.
We're going to head over to, I think, lanes 9 and 10 to see Sam Patrice and Paula Zakowski. It'll be interesting to see how these guys are approaching it. Again, there's some interesting work going on these ergs and the positioning of ergs. It's obviously some personal preferences coming into play here.
It is, and like I said, it could, or like you were talking about it as well, it could be that this is a personal preference. It could be that it's about the transitions. But most importantly, if you have the opportunity to make the athlete happy with whatever they're seeing and they feel comfortable with the way that they're set up, they're going to perform better.
We might have to ask Lauren to ask if one of these athletes comes across the line at the end. We'll have to ask what's their thinking behind that, because I'd be intrigued as to their thought process.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
Okay, so we're heading in front of lane number 1. We've got Karis Webster here. She started off very smoothly earlier on, and she seems to be maintaining that smooth progress.
And she's got a really good rhythm. So we're 6 minutes in, and we know that around the 7.5, 8 minute mark is when people have to start paying. I mean, that's when it really starts hurting. But she looks like she's doing a good job right here.
So these athletes are continuing to work. They're kind of continuing to get this job done. I think, is this a case for many of getting this workout out the way?
Well, I think, God, you're putting me on the spot. Yes.
That's what I've got to do.
Yes.
That's what I've got to do.
No, I like it. It's an interesting question, because obviously it is one of these things you just have to kind of do it, get after it. Absolutely. But at the same time, the ramifications of what can happen if you do well and if you do bad, it's kind of a huge thing. So they can't really just kind of treat it as, let me just get this done and then that'll be it.
So we're looking at lane number 9. That's Sam Ventrese. So she looks like she's flying through the row. She's got a nice little technique move in there. She's not getting too close to the front.
I like the shorter stroke. I also like the pace. It doesn't look like it's too heavy to start with, and I think that's helping her out a lot.
Where do you think some CrossFitters could get better with rowing? Do some people use their arms too much, or they don't use their legs move enough? You mentioned about the posterior chain. What from your point of view as a coach, as somebody who does CrossFit on a regular basis, how do you see those techniques, and how, again, we mentioned earlier about the variance going in there, but what's the most important thing from a rowing point of view to avoid over-fatiguing arms in that way? Because sometimes people do pull when they should be pushing.
Well, yes, I think that to me the thing I've found that kind of works the best is to try to eliminate all the things that will cost you energy, that make you less efficient. So instead of looking for what can make you better, start eliminating the things that make you worse, so that you expend less energy on there, you get off the rower capable of doing other things as well. It also allows you to feel comfortable spending more time on the rower, which will then in turn, well, it works for everything that you do. So I think more than looking at what can you do better, it's more what am I currently doing that doesn't necessarily give me anything.
Well, I think one thing is just talking about technique and moving away from technique, but it's actually just looking how packed the crowd is right now. I think it's so impressive that so many people are in here to see these athletes competing. And I think there might be the next few heats as we move into it. So we're in the third of 4 female elite heats right now. We're moving into the next heat, and I think as we mentioned about the loaded field, I think that heat is going to be a phenomenal workout and phenomenal to watch for so many, and that might explain these fantastic numbers in the crowd. Okay, we're going to go and have a look at Jane Eady in lane number 5. We've spoken about her already in terms of her achievements with JST a couple of summers ago, and it's interesting to see her just continue to move. Again, efficiency, getting down to the levels in terms of what's required by the judge, and she seems to be doing a great job.
That is brilliant. Love the rhythm on the wall balls. I mean, it's just, she looks completely unfazed by them. That's a very smooth transition with the rower right there.
I'm wondering that. It does
you may have cracked it.
Do you think anybody's going to be borrowing some of these little nuances of approach with the erg and the placement of the erg, or just people going to be applying their own psychology towards it?
Oh, I hope they do. I hope they look at these athletes, which are some of the best athletes that we've got, well, in Europe right now, and well, North America as well. I think if you look at them and just learn from them, why are they here? Because the small things that they're doing, I really, really like that. So I think you should go home, try to play with it, and then find out what works best for you, and then go with that.
Awesome. So there's just under 5 minutes to go in this heat. It seems like these guys are ready to get 19.1 done. I think as we sort of start to see these athletes trying to speed up to try and get as many reps as they can in, it's interesting to see how they can keep pushing the score and keep trying to make some differences to their scoreboard and their effort.
Well, definitely. But I think it's just interesting to see the way that Jane Eady is going about her business right now. Her rowing looks really, really solid as well.
Yeah.
She's got a great cadence. Her wall balls, we saw them a second ago, looking great as well. So yeah, no, I'm just really impressed with the way that she's conducting her business right now. I'm not surprised. Let's just put it out there. I'm not surprised by her being awesome. I'm just happy with what she's doing right now.
So we've got Jane from a different angle here, and it does seem like Jane is the kind of the pace setter in this workout. It's interesting to see she's got a heart rate monitor on as well to sort of help her with recovery later on, to sort of understand where her peaks are. And it's great to see that she's looking so confident, so smooth, and this will set her up nicely for the latter part of the day in the next workout.
Oh, definitely, and she's got to be really, really happy with what she's with the way that she's getting this done as well. Both, I mean, she's going to love the score, absolutely, but she's also going to love the fact that she got a great start to the competition. And right now, I mean, she's in her zone and she's just kind of holding on to it. You seeing at the bottom of the screen, you've got Emma Tal with the yellow top getting into the rower again. I mean, she started out just a little bit slower than Janie did, but I mean, she's trying to catch up. She does a really great job. You see her cadence on the rower a little bit slower, but she's got phenomenal leg and lower body strength. And I think that's why she's opting for slightly slower cadence on the rower, but trying to exert more energy in every pull.
And is there a standard level that these rowers are set to in terms of the resistance, or are they working to a level that they can set it to suit what they need to get to?
They can set it to suit whatever they need, and I think they've all got a different kind of idea of what it is they like more. If my cadence was faster, if I'm trying to get more strokes per minute, I'd probably try to get the damper down just a little bit. If I was a powerhouse like Emma, I'd try to pop it up just a little bit to get some more air in there. But I mean, it's all about what you're used to from your box.
And it's interesting to hear that Emma and Jane, so it's actually between lanes 2 and 5 right now. Emma and Jane are leading candidates, are leading participants in this round, and it's great to see that they're doing so well. Just over 2 minutes to go in the workout. Would love to be able to get some stats over as soon as we can, but from the floor we know that they are the leading contestants in this workout right now. We're going to go and have a look at lane number 6. Taylor Howe, just give us some thoughts on Taylor's technique here on the erg.
Well, what Taylor does looks really, really good. We kind of got the same body composition as we have with Emma, just a phenomenally strong athlete. She's got slightly slower stroke rate, or lower stroke rate, but she's pulling pretty hard. You see the damper on the rower just on the bottom of your screen as well is up. So she's getting, well, she doesn't get to rest, but she gets to play into the strength that she has, which is just strength. And then on her wall ball, she's looked really, really solid. Just great bottom position, really, really confident with her with how she does that as well. I love what I see Taylor doing right now, and it's just interesting to see her play to her strengths as targeted towards her strength as she is.
Do you think there would have been screams of joy when this workout was released on Thursday and Friday? Would athletes have said, "I like this. This workout is going to suit me," or they think, "You know what? This is going to be a tough workout for people in general"?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was talking to David Sharonka just yesterday at the check-in. I was like, "Well, dude, you must be a pretty happy camper." He's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty happy." I was like, "I don't think with a big powerhouse like him, I don't think you could have asked for a better event."
This is a powerhouse style of workout. This is something that's going to suit somebody with a big engine, with a big set of strength levels in there. And it seems like that's been borne out by the athletes that have done well in this workout that we've seen so far. Last 45 seconds as we go, so it was the cap, so we're going to head back towards, this is obviously Emma Tal here in lane number 2, one of our leaders alongside Jane Eady in lane number 5. Jane continues to look immaculate really in terms of her technique, both on the erg and on her wall balls earlier.
It looks like she's increased her pace as well. She's a former college football player, so she's got great endurance. I mean, she played at Texas A&M, or played soccer at Texas A&M, and if I'm not completely mistaken, she's ahead of both heat 1 and 2 at the moment right now. So from the background and from the way that she's trained as well, and from the way that she's trained as well, she's used to just being in lactic acid suck. So.
We are done, folks. We are done. That's the third one. I'm starting to feel the workout of 19.1, I have to say. But we are done with that one for heat number 3. Again, congratulations to all athletes. There's a few of them, not so many on the floor on this one. That's too big a smile for this workout, isn't it?
It is. Maybe just a pain face.
Maybe.
Different athletes, different pain phases.
Well, we're going to get down to have a chat with one of these guys in a minute, but let's just kind of go over that last workout there. It seems that it's really interesting to hear that was our fastest. We believe that was our fastest workout in terms of most number of rounds achieved compared to others. Obviously, this is a very difficult workout to compare when it comes to a race format because of the way that the event is structured. But it's very, very interesting to see how these guys have taken this on and how they've moved this forward. So I think Jane and Emma Tal, I think, are the guys that we're hearing are the lead candidates coming out of this heat, and we're hopefully going to hear back. I think Emma looked very, very strong down there, didn't she?
I think she did a great. I think she did a great game, she did a great job. I think the way that she started out, I think she went a little bit faster, a little bit later. I think she's stuck in her lane. She set herself up for success. I thought that was really, really great. I like to see that, and she's just coming into her own as an athlete.
And looking at the other athletes, we mentioned obviously Frida in heat number 2, and we had Caitlin in heat number 2. Are you seeing any major differences between their approach and the approach of Emma and Jane in that last heat?
It's just different body compositions and different ways of playing to your own strength. So I don't think that there are all that many differences. It's just that they're getting better at feeding into what it is they do best.
Awesome. Well, look, I think Lauren is down on the floor with Emma. So, Lauren, it's over to you.
Yeah, I mean, bless Emma, you're the most composed athlete I've seen so far after this event. How was that? It must be taking its toll.
It was good, but it wasn't hard. It's a pretty simple exercises, so it's just go.
How do you game plan going into this? Like how many rounds you were going to achieve or your speed you were going to go at?
I wanted 8 rounds, and I think I got 8 rounds and 13 reps or 12 reps.
No, it was an awesome performance. We're just going to have a little, we're just going to head this way, just so we're out of the way of the other athletes, but we're going to keep on with this interview. I mean, there's an option, isn't there, for you to move the kit around so you feel more comfortable in how you're doing 19.1. What did you do to your rower to make it feel more like you're at home in your own box?
I've just moved the rower back, so it was under the rig, so I could just take like one step out from the rower and do my wall balls.
Great, well, it obviously worked today. Congratulations, we'll see you later in the competition.
Thanks.
Awesome, thanks, Lauren. Look, for everybody watching at home right now, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you need to head over to strengthindepth.com to watch heat number 4 in this elite female category. It's important that you do that. We won't be on YouTube or Facebook for that, so it's important you get over to strengthindepth.com right now. And you can do that once you get onto the page. All you need to do is enter your email, and that will give you access to watch this next heat. So make sure you get over there as soon as you can. We are just a minute and a half from that heat kicking off.
So just to make sure I got this right, this is free of charge. I get all this great footage free of charge. All I need to do is enter my email address.
Absolutely, that's all you need to do.
Love it.
preparing for the Games 2019. My passion is endurance. What's yours?
In a race between the bar and the bearings minimizes wear on crucial parts and optimizes rotation and control at all loads. With a new dust-proof seal, dirt and moisture stay out and essential grease is kept in place inside the sleeve. The result is a bar with an increased lifespan and more consistent performance over decades.